in it.
I'm just wondering, isn't that like a heavy fuel anyways? Never mind like the fact that it's a liquid and it's going to be on an airplane.
Will not get used.
Don't know. I never played with aviation fuel.
Like we got to get you a jet turbine, and see if you can figure out whether or not they're lying about the ratio of fuel they use or whether they use fuel at all.
I'll just go down.
Somebody's going to let you loose on a turbine.
I'll just go pick their brain down at the Army on the Air Force base and see what those guys say.
Just kind of shoot the shit, see if you can get info.
There's some videos on YouTube of guys starting them up in shops. You know, like they got them mounted on jigs so that they can't move at all, and they fire them up right there in the shop with ear protection in.
Yeah, that's the only way to check them out. And I think my aunt's husband works for United Airlines, so he's working on those things every day. I got to go pick his brain.
Yeah, you gotta ask him about this thing that I read about. I don't know, he might not talk about it, but I read that there was this guy that he was working on aircrafts at the airport, right, back in like 2005, and he said the lowest ranked people had to deal with the honey trucks, you know, like all the sewage in the aircraft, and then as you were like as you had more seniority, you'd get the better jobs, you know. So the guys who worked on the engines weren't the guys that emptied the shit tanks, and so forth weren't the same guys that did the refueling. So he started asking questions about systems in the aircraft that he saw that didn't make sense, and he started hinting towards like, you know, chemtrails or stratospheric aerosol injection, SAI, whatever you want to refer to it as, because that's the real term. And he was suspended, and then he got threatening phone calls from like some anonymous person telling him like, that's what you get for sneaking around where you're not supposed to. So the theory that I read was that they fuel the chemtrail reservoir in the airplane via a hatch behind the hatch where the sewage is emptied. So there's a second trap door behind the honey hole door. But I don't know. I've never been in the belly of an airplane.
No, I've only seen them in movies. And usually they're trying to defuse a bomb, you know. Uh-oh, what happened?
Do you got a mini? I said, do you have a mini fridge? You could slide the laptop right in the refrigerator, you know? Gotcha.
No, I have to make a point.
I love his body.
Gathered together from the four corners of the earth, here in this great channel of truth, are the worst flat earthers ever assembled.
I was watching on the watch page and I realized it's like a little tiny bit behind. And I got to the point where it's like Agave sitting there in the office chair. I'm like, all right, I don't need to watch this part. Yeah, so you know what I was saying right before that was I was reading about a guy who described getting suspended and harassed after working at the airport doing airplane mechanic stuff. And he was asking questions about what's going on with these other tubes and reservoirs in the belly of the jet that he assumed had to do with chemtrails. And he got like some anonymous phone call that said, like, see what you get for messing around after he was suspended. And he was talking about how like the hut on the back of the aircraft where they empty the toilet tanks. There's a second hatch behind that where they fill the chemtrail liquid, I guess, or substance. So I don't know. What do you guys make of that? That's the last thing I remember talking about.
I thought they mixed it in with the fuel. No.
Well, that's kind of what I thought too, and that's how it's readily available for any jet that's going to be above a certain height. Opportunity to do so, you know. Like every aircraft is part of the program. Like it's not just a few of them. It's not just a portion. It's literally all of them, I think. Well, not the propeller planes actually, because that's a different system, you know. Like a propeller plane runs on a piston engine, doesn't it? So that's not really the same deal.
Already says that he can't hear Jibby or Snack.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Artie, can you hear me?
I can hear
What's up,
you.
Are you there?
The Snack, his icon pop up, and I could see those lines that he was saying something, but I couldn't hear it on the watch page. But every time I could say, yeah, I agree, blah, 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 you were saying something back to him, and I couldn't hear what Snack was saying.
That would happen. That was happening.
I was noticing the same thing from the watch page, and I was wondering if it had to do with your microphone volume, not for the Hangout itself, but for the OBS the overall thing. You remember when Poncho was having that problem where like he'd have two microphones open basically, and one of them would cycle back through his speakers?
Yeah, pre-echo.
Yeah, so you'd hear people talking before they said something. Well, I think it's something going on where the two separate microphone volume levels, like one, somehow people aren't hearing you.
It's like you have
overall OBS.
Yeah, you're doing like a double pass with the intake, the mic intake. It's going through this, then it goes through the OBS. It's almost like a double filter. It lowers it a lot. I noticed.
When Dan was here and him and Haunted were talking, and you tried to interject, Snack, I couldn't hear anything you were saying. I could hear you way in the background. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, yeah, I can hear Jimmy, but I can't hear Snack. I just double checked.
I'm on my account now, not on the main one.
I can hear you're fine on the watch space now, but I can't hear Snack. Nothing.
Snack's not saying anything.
Well, when previously you were saying, and when your icon popped up in the watch page, I only saw you those lines going out that you were saying something, but it was
or he could have been making a noise like he bumped something.
I couldn't hear Snake. I didn't know who it was talking, Snake, but it was Snake then. But it was dead silent, and I could hear that they were responding to you, but your sound was completely silent. Yeah.
Press 3 if you think Snack's really a superhero and it's not him.
It just got to you, and I cannot hear you. I'm trying to cut it down from Artis's long division version of the explanation. No, I can't hear you on the watch page.
So Snack, what seems to be happening, I would guess, is like like your microphone's trying to be drawn from before it takes the stream of everybody else talking somehow, and you're it's either canceling itself out like Jibby said, or somehow you're on a different volume level or something. I don't know.
We
right
can
now
hear you
in the hangout, yes.
We can't hear you on the
I can
panel
hear
is
you
clear.
In the
fine.
hangout,
There's
we
one
need you
more
on the left
volume
page.
setting you're missing. That's probably muted by default.
I thought when Poncho used to toggle that on and off, it was like a red microphone,
Check.
not just
check,
the
check.
white one that you see on Hangouts.
Check. Can anybody hear me?
Maybe you can't see it because of the PPC logo.
He'll try out the
Can
different
you
things.
can you check to see how I sound right now? If you can hear me, or if not.
I'll check.
It's gonna take a second. I do, however, have the sparkles working in Sparkle Vision.
Oh, I gotta see what that looks like.
So that's pretty good. Yeah, if you can see that on the watch page, I think it adds a little certain something. Anyway, not sure if I'm audible, but I'm running through the OBS, and I'm also at the same time running through the Hangouts audio. So I don't know. You tell me. Maybe you can hear me by now. Maybe not.
The stars remind me of like something.
Coming through.
Yeah, you're coming through. I can hear you now.
When you were
Remember
saying check, the watch page could hear you, but the panel couldn't.
Okay, but you can hear me now, right?
I can hear you on the
I can
panel.
hear you here.
I don't know
I
about the
can
watch page yet.
hear you.
Okay.
Maybe you were switching back from one to the other.
Yeah, I just changed something.
Alright, let me go check.
So guess that should be good. And then I'll just mute from here.
Check. The watch page could hear you, but the panel couldn't.
I think Jibby's listening. It still hasn't reached that point.
Right, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds right. Everybody in the chat, you hear both of us?
Yeah, I just muted myself for a second. So I think what happens is
We sound like we're on board of a plane, though. It does sound like there's a jet engine next to it. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, at least it's
Jet
a little bit
engine.
better.
That's the other thing we were talking about earlier was jet engines and mechanics. And I was saying we got to get a turbine engine in front of Mike so he can take it apart and play with it.
yeah. So,
That'd be sweet if me, Mike, and Agave got to play with a jet turbine with all kinds of tools.
We sound like we're on board of a plane, though. It does sound like there's a jet engine next to it. Okay.
Dem must be so confused at this point.
Then we just got over here.
Yeah, I
made a
asked
meme.
my aunt's husband about it, but he's a baller who believes 9/11 was an inside job, but he doesn't go for the flatter.
The turbine engine in front of Mike so he can take it apart and play with it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like the whole inside job terminology. I feel like that was fed to people as like a phrase to be labeled as anybody who says that they know that they've created that lie to have it out there. Like, I'd rather believe it was domestic terrorists or Russia than our own government because that seems more plausible.
I just like to be part of a group everybody hates.
Yeah, that's
The
it.
league. Ooh. I hate you more. No, I hate you more.
No globe for you.
I save a lot of money and wasted time on weddings I don't get invited to, though. I like that part.
Weddings.
It seems as though the longer time goes by that America hoard
You
itself
sound like
out.
you're in a gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
I am.
Lobby. Waiting room.
Bathroom.
He's waiting for Sean to
You need
show
the
up.
acoustics.
Is there a popular science magazine somewhere nearby?
Gas station.
Look for the National Geographic magazines and see if you can find the one about the flat Earth.
I'm actually in a McDonald's. I'm in a McDonald's.
In the bathroom?
Or if not, find one with like topless indigenous women.
No, he's in the play place. He's
Oh,
in the
he's in
tubes.
the-
He's in the inappropriate adult area.
Doing an adult stuff.
Jared's like, they don't make these slides big enough.
Looks like you're in the basement of McDonald's, where they hide all the GMO shit.
That's why they keep Ronald McDonald. He's like a gimp.
No, that's what McDonald does all his underground dealings. He's able to show up at any McDonald's basement he wants, and it's like the mafia. He can bring somebody.
Who's more of the gimp, Ronald or Grimace? Wow.
Was that a C?
Who's more of the what?
Who's more of the gimp, Ronald or Grimace?
I don't know what Grimace is.
Grimace doesn't even have arms.
He does, but they're like T-Rex arms.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, they're just like. What are you? Do you just make a racket wherever you go, whatever you do?
Oh crap! Sorry, I actually hit the mic button. My bad.
Is that you punching
All
the
right,
toilet
Jared,
paper
Jared.
to get some out?
By the way, try this, Jared. When you're on the phone and you're doing the speakerphone thing, lower the volume of your receiver, like the volume coming back, because when I'm on my cell phone in the Hangout, the noise coming out of my phone will actually be so loud that it's coming back a little bit through my microphone on my phone. You know?
That's common.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised though.
for
Cell
you.
phone, the cell phone shakes because the volume's so loud and the vibration goes through the microphone. It's not so much the noise, you know?
Wouldn't it be great if this guy said actually for us in the beginning, no globe for you. Go back to the line.
Like a globe Nazi.
Yeah, the globe nuts.
No globe for you.
No globe for you.
Hell yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I also made another one. No coffee for you, unless it's steaming hot.
You need to make another one that says free Leonard Peltier now.
Yeah, cool.
Do you remember the one I made with Trump that said that? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a great one. In a car in space. I actually made a screenshot from it and I kept it because I liked it. Yeah.
How did that turn out for him?
He's still in jail. How many years? 40 now? He's still being in jail with Leonard Peltier for a crime he never committed. And it's also, the evidence is there that he never committed a crime. But, well, he won't be set free because, yeah, for certain reasons. He was.
Who didn't do what?
Leonard Peltier.
Who?
There was a Native American activist.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're willing to murder them, kill them off any way they can. I mean, look, here in Canada, it's pretty obvious. Like, if you're a lady named Eaton and you get yourself murdered by someone, you're gonna have Canada-wide police looking for whoever killed you because you're one of these, elites. If you're a Native Canadian lady, well, you're a drunk, you're off a reserve, you're poorly educated, you prostitute yourself, 100 of you can go missing and be murdered. It don't matter. Cops will laugh at it like it's a fucking joke.
I know,
but who's kidding who? I mean, we talk about this stuff, but that's what's in place. In Quebec, the Quebec Provincial Police were outed for raping women, the native women, for the last 15, 16 years in some of these towns. 20 years of rape. You know, we're in the modern world. We have justice. Like Bush says, establish an order and not live by the rule of the jungle. That is their jungle. Rapists and murderers. Cannibals. That's the globe jungle they have. They call it democracy.
I try to attend to that subject as much as I can, between not that people get bored by it, but I will slip it in there once in a while to make people aware that it happens. That
who's your audience? The people that are supporters of like Jimmy Savile, like the Mark Taylors and the Gem Pandas and all these other kind of cultish Glober people that are, you know.
Well, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, hopefully it's more than just them that you know.
It's a big idea.
Catering to, yeah, it's big. It's for everybody. So even though it's limited right now and it's media scope and all that stuff, it is everybody who's involved in flat Earth, whether they know it or even like it. You have no choice.
No.
Well, I think it needs to be said too in the case of the Native Americans or the Aboriginal Americans, if you want to call them that, both in Canada, United States, and I guess you could also say in Mexico. When the settlers first got here, they had to play nice with them. You know, they didn't just come right in and say, "Oh, hey, guess what? We're gonna take all the shit." They acted nice because they were outnumbered. They slowly moved in over a couple of generations. They used like almost like an assimilation.
I think they already knew
really slow game kind of thing, you know.
A lot of them too, you know. They didn't have to fight with them.
It wasn't until like 50 years after they first got to the 13 colonies, I can say, where they really turned on the natives. You know, they had to play nice for the first 50 years, and if they hadn't done that, they never would have been able to pull off basically the backstabbing that they pulled off, where they first kicked them all out of Boston or whatever around here. At least I can only speak about here from what I read, but they kicked them all out of the city, and they just kept pushing them further and further away, and then eventually they gathered them all up and they marooned them on an island, and hundreds of them died, you know? And they told them, if you try to fish or hunt, we'll kill you.
Because they had them outnumbered. In the beginning, they didn't have them outnumbered, so the chances of them losing was there, and then later on they had those Native Americans outnumbered, so they were sure they're gonna win the fight, and that's when they they may have bought Manhattan for 16 muskets, some blankets, food, blah blah blah, bear skins or whatever, but the Native Americans were only right over there in a different area where they had always been, and it was just Manhattan that was purchased in that purchase. They didn't purchase the whole fucking country or the whole continent. You know, if they had told the Native Americans, no, we're going to take all of the land, they would have said, over my dead fucking body, which they did say.
Look, there are many contracts out there, including New York and many other places, where these buildings that are making billions of dollars over the years, natives get $7, $8 a month rent, because the rental agreements are from way, way, way back, and they've never been updated. Why would a white person, you know, give $1 billion to a native when you can give him $7 a month and keep the billion because he's got a contract that doesn't even have to go before the court?
I'd also like to say in the beginning, right? Like, there must have been smart natives who were like, all right, these people got here, they're claiming to not take anything over, you know, they're claiming to just coexist with us, but why are they building a stone foundation for a permanent building when we're nomadic? Like, some of them must have known better. And it was like the hierarchy of the natives that almost fucked them over too, because everyone listened to the chief. You know,
I think it's an unfair assumption to think that the white man put down the first foundation building in North America here. We have canals all through Florida that are man-made. We have all kinds of foundations of buildings that were not made by the white man here. In fact, they probably predate some of the natives. Yeah. There's so much more going on in our history. Is such a pathetic ball of puke and dust that if you're quoting from it in any way, shape, or form, I'm actually, as a flat earther, feeling sorry for you, because it's such a lump of smoking mixed garbage that it's not even worth quoting from.
Yeah, as the Native Americans for the story probably get a more realistic story what actually
Right.
happened.
If you want
Instead
to
of
know the
the
real
so-called things
numbers
they have in their history books.
from the Native Americans, 60 million down to 800,000 is how many they wiped out.
Yeah, that's what's written in the history book, so it's probably more.
Well, we have in
No,
Canada
that's from
at least
the
30,
natives, not from
30
the books.
mass graves of Indian children with at least 1,000 children in each of them. So that's
Exactly.
30,000 children, you know, that didn't want to learn English, that didn't want to say I and mine, and they preferred we and ours, and they couldn't be broken. So they sent them off for experimentation at McGill and other places, and sent them off to boarding schools where, you know, either they were experimented on or allowed to get pneumonia, pleurisy, anything, and just kill them off that way. But anyway, lots of mass graves in Canada. We say, oh, Hitler was bad. Oh, mass graves. Oh, genocide. Look, Canada got no freaking business at all opening its mouth about how bad other nations treat people. Because we just have to look at, A, in general, how people are pretty much treated here like dog meat, and B, how the Indian is still treated today. So we're no saints. We are the devil, the white people, the demon that the black person says we are. We are descendants of the fallen angels and not descendants of Noah. But anyway, we don't have to be the evil that the fallen angels were. That's why we're still here. I think it's sort of like kind of still an option for people, you know?
It is.
And it's a choice of one or the other. And, you know, supporters of Jimmy Savile obviously are on the other. That's my guess. So, you know.
Well, I mean, I'm following you there in the sense that, like, nowadays I understand that whole, like, story of Cain and Abel better. You know, like, one was born of, like, Adam and Eve, and the other one was born of, what was it, like, I don't know, the fallen angel or whatever, who was not human, and Eve.
Well, they were the sons of
they
God,
didn't have the same
fallen
father.
angels, nonetheless, though. They were fallen, but they were called the sons of God. But anyway, the children that were born from these 200 fallen angels that went down to, I guess, I forget what place in the Middle East. I forget the name of it there. Begins with an H, Hermes or something. But anyway, they sort of colonized and took wives, and the children of those women that these sons of God took became giants.
Yeah, I remember. I'm trying to think of his name, Matt something. He's a younger guy. He used to come on and talk with us when Candy Franklin did her show, and he used to talk about how the fallen angels came down, they impregnated the daughters of man, and gave birth to the Nephilim.
Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to talk about that a lot.
They were huge. These were giants, proverbial giants. And they come in all sizes. They go right to titans. And if some people can't see it and deny it, but the rocks, the mountains, entire ranges are sometimes the bones and petrified remains of these titans. We're walking on these fallen angels and these sons and daughters and offsprings of. We're walking on titans. We're walking on DNA that's been petrified. This world was created. We do have a creator. The rest, I don't know. I really don't. I can't even care to speculate anymore. For me, you know, those are two big keys that I learned that brought me a lot more satisfaction just in, you know, mental well-being in this world, the state of knowing at least, wow, I always knew we had a creator and stuff, but there's so much religious dogma and all these people fricking with your mind to try to tell you, oh, this is the way and that's the way and all this bullshit. Just every freaking second doorstep, there's, you know, a church full of babble and bullshit for you. But again, I really believe, yes, we have a creator. And yes, our relationship is with him. Not through these churches and these, what I don't know what to call them, but parasites. These people who sell lies and want your money, promising you salvation and a place in heaven later. And they do that just for their greed, so they can have Cadillacs,
religious middlemen,
homes. What is that? What the religion is about? You get a flock of people and you fleece them, promising them hot air.
It's almost like they're going to try to retail you your religion, you know, as like a third party, and their whole goal is to Sherpa you through the way of the church. You know, they're going to guide you through to the top of the mountain, and meanwhile, they're somehow getting rich doing it too.
Yeah. The way I see it now, we have a creator. Our world was created. It was built. It was made. It didn't come from no goddamn Big Bang. Not for a millisecond. And, you know, the rest, often what gets between us and the creator is just this spiel and human garbage and all these acid-tripping freaks that want to fuck with your brain.
Yeah.
I say the hell with them all. You know, walk your road. Know you have a God. Know you were created. Know the earth is flat. And walk your road. Learn. You know, part of life is a learning experience from early childhood till your last breath. If you're not learning, if you think you know it all or something, then you didn't understand life. Every time you wake up in the morning, you're out for and risk new experiences. Well, a new experience is something you haven't had before. You can learn something, and you do learn stuff. But people, I don't know, they get into a routine. They think they know it all. They got all this ego. I know I've studied a whole freaking lot, and now, well, I don't care how much I studied electronics, electricity, chemistry. I don't give a shit. It's worth dick. It really is. Because the geology is biology and anatomy. Electricity, there is none. Light doesn't travel at 186,000 miles a second. It's all freaking bullshit. From A to Z. So there's only two things I'm sure of. We have a creator, and water's flat and level. There's no bendy water. The rest all work out.
Yeah, that are the basics, and you can build on that. Yeah.
Oh, at least those are the two things I know are true.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. Well, you can see it for yourself, and then,
Yeah, well, that's one thing. I can't see that there is a creator. I can't see him.
You can see the result of it. You can see the result.
As sure as water is flat.
And you can see the result of something.
Yeah. But, you know, everything in between in this freaking Barnum and Bailey circus is just like that. Just a show, just a three-ring circus.
They put a lot of people in place to tell a history that is not true.
Absolutely, and they engineer it into the future. Look, Wakey did a thing on geology, okay? Well, it's fine that he did it. I found it a bit well-prepared and very shill-like, and I listened through it twice just to really get a good encompassment of all the things he was saying. Now, at one point, he does mention giants and stuff, then mentions one elephant and says he went there and disproved it, you know? I'm sorry. That's a little bit too swift a dismissal, you know, kind of like offhand it with your backhand. And the other thing that he pushed was this all new concept. I don't know if anyone caught it. All this land and everything and all the rocks and all the form and all the other stuff, all the granite, someone has this theory it was all underwater when it formed. Blow it out your freaking ear. Wakey. Nonsense. So it's going to do like the giant trees, silicone trees, 10 miles tall. Sure, there were big trees and really big trees. They weren't made of silicone, but yes, there were really big trees. Silicone part, bullshit. Devil changing silicone to carbon because it's 666 is bullshit. Okay? So I'm there with that.
How do they know that those things supposed to be were trees and not another kind of life form?
They don't.
They don't. They say, oh, it's a tree because it looks like a tree. Well,
any of those things, you can go to them and there's lots of underground seismic information from them. You'll see none of them have roots.
No.
I mean, kind of be nice if a
And
tree
what
had
maybe
either a
one-
tap
it
root
could
or
be-
roots that are runners.
Yeah. It could be one form of plant life that existed.
Lots of possibilities.
But yeah, there's a possibility. But trees, yeah, it's I don't know.
But, you know, like I say, I mean, if this world was created, and it was, and we have a creator, then pretty much everything that we've been fed is bullshit. When you really think
But,
about it.
well, it's simple. So if something is there, it has to be created.
It's like everything
way
that
or
falls
another.
under the guise of science. Your old Big Bang removes creation. Heliocentrism removes Earth from being the center of the universe.
Yeah.
That bozo, what's his name with his evolution? That removes creation and design. It's bullshit. You know, if everything developed out of a Big Bang and by accident and freakishness, the mitochondria of all living things and the evolution of the human DNA and everything from bananas to frogs to rats to cats to you name it, they couldn't all be designed from the same core, from the same skeleton molecules. They couldn't be. They'd all have to develop
You know, it's kind of an
independently.
interesting thought. You know, it's kind of an interesting thought, right? Is
What is?
if you have like an atheist mentality where there is no God, not you, I'm just saying if someone were to have that mentality, atheists also can't believe in God-given rights by nature because you don't even believe in God in the first place, so how could you have God-given rights, you know?
Well, I don't know.
But a lot of them want to have cake and eat it too, so I hate that saying, but
Well, it's an easy parameter to adopt. It's the ultimate in hypocrisy. Do as I say, not as I do. And it's reserving the right to say, if I say jump, don't say why, ask how high. Where does that
I think a better analogy is they want to own an unopened copy of the Beatles' White Album, but they want to listen to it too.
Well, buy two.
There you go. I like the people that did buy two of things like that way, way back when. Like they had like the foresight. Like they're like, I'm going to buy two of these and never touch one of them ever again. It's like, genius. Thank you. It's so simple, but nobody does it. How many people bought two iPods and never touched one of them, you know?
People, first of all, people have enough money to do it. Second of all, most of them are collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the things, like you could fail on your investment too, like a Windows phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but if you had an unused Apple computer from like 1981, people would drool all over that for the stupidest reasons. It's amazing.
But in another 10 years, they might not, you know?
Yeah.
And some of the, like
true.
the original Mac Plus and stuff, it was signed by Kurt Vonnegut and a few other people. If you pull out that, pull off the case, off the tube and the inside there, and you look inside the back, it's got about 10 signatures, including one is Bill Gates.
Wow.
So that's partly why these old machines are sort of valuable. They all got kind of Easter eggs in them, and you know.
Kurt Vonnegut, that's such a 90s name drop. I haven't heard that name in like 20 years. I'm not kidding.
Well, I think his last book, I think he was a flat earther, a closet flat earther. In one of his books, I forget if it was Hi-Ho or one of them anyway. He starts off, he's in an airplane, and he's doing some mental math about the distance of lightning, thunder, and the bounce back and stuff. And it's just kind of ironic. And his final book was Timequake, which...
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's the last book he wrote before he died, and it's kind of a critique on, well, they're all critiques, but I don't know, in a subtle way, he covered some of the hardest times in his life when he was like on the streets and in shelters and stuff in that particular thing, and, you know, in and out of the military. And But the guy was a genius. He wrote Sirens of Titans, where, you know, was one of the things that in his presidential days that what was his name? The actor there, Reagan, quoted, if we were invaded from aliens from Mars, we'd all unite and get together. And that was from 1960. I guess it was a Pulitzer-winning book by Kurt Vonnegut called The Sirens of Titan, in which a billionaire from Earth colonized Mars, built an army, and attacked Earth from Mars.
Oh,
So
do you think Trump will do that?
Earth had to unite. You know, it was like setting up today we call them black flags. That story in 1960 was a billionaire setting up a colony on Mars secretly, preparing armies there, and invading the Earth to unite it under one banner, one global banner. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
It all sounds bad, but yes, it does sound familiar.
And what was the name of the book again?
The Sirens of Titan. It's from 1960. And it's about a rich guy who builds a thing on Mars to invade the Earth, to make a one world government, to get everyone to unite against a space alien. It's brilliant. New World Order.
I always make a note of it, actually by the visualization of the book, and then I keep it in a file that I can
check it later. Another one related to the insanity of, you know, their globe model and the politics is called Cat's Cradle. That's
I've heard of that one.
Oh, it's a brilliant, brilliant book. It's about a scientist who works on top secret stuff for the government, and he creates a product that, if it comes in contact with water, it freezes the water, or at least turns it to ice instantly. And the product is called Ice 9, and people are getting killed to get the recipe for it and stuff, or the formula. It's a brilliant, brilliant novel, and it's sort of about the, you know, Cold War spying over garbage and stuff, and people sort of, well, in a black humor way, you know, the I guess like Soviet American spy versus spy nonsense and stuff over science and technology.
Speaking of that, somebody brought up to me that back in, I don't know what year they were referring to, but it was Cold War era. They were talking about U-2 planes flying around the Arctic Circle to see what Russia was up to in the North Sea and along their borders or something like that.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about that because a couple of pilots did get downed over Russia and taken and exchanged later, you know.
The U-2 pilots, right?
You don't circle the Arctic Circle. It's a straight line. Northern Canada runs across, and Russia ain't north of us. That's a misconception.
Yeah, see, and that's the dispute I had with all that. Is I started thinking about that again, and I'm like, that's the craziest load of bullshit ever, right?
Tell us, and this is from the horse's mouth. If you leave like the Baffin Islands and start heading due north, true north, you're not heading towards Russia. You're heading towards, quote, about 1,500 miles of open sea with a few land masses, apparent land masses, but they'll tell you the land masses you see when you go due north from the Baffins and stuff, farther up, due north, you know, they're not there. You're hallucinating when you see them. So they're not considering you've been out 10 minutes or 10 days and starving. They say, oh, if you see land there, no matter what condition, it's imaginary. I don't believe that.
Yep. And I remember you and I'm sure you remember, you and I were having almost an argument about where north really is, and I had missed your point, which is like, just because I'm looking at a map or 2 maps or 10 maps of where north should be, that doesn't mean that any of it's accurate.
Yeah.
Like true north.
If you look at
you and I both have observed strange things about where like north should be, from me down here in New England and you up wherever you are exactly, but
yeah. Look, when I see the full moon down at the end of Meadowlands Road here in the morning. I know exactly where it is over the plain. When it's exactly in the right place in my sky on the horizon, and I see it full, when it's over the center of Africa, over the Libya-Chad border. That's supposed to be the other side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless I'm seeing through the ball, or it's even farther away than 250,000 miles, I shouldn't be seeing it. I see it because it's flat and it's whatever is the moon, and apparent at that moment is, in theory, over Central Africa. So that don't add up.
Moon observations could blow curvature completely away like that, you know,
Yes.
because what should be behind the rest of the Earth isn't.
And you know, some nights I got a full moon. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. That means the sun and the moon is right overhead, you know, as close to overhead as you can imagine. It means the sun is the exact opposite side of the ball. How come it's a full moon past midnight?
Good question. I got another good one for you that I realized yesterday, James. Okay, so I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, and she says to me, "Oh, it's 8/21 today, the 21st of August. The solar eclipse was exactly a year ago today." And I was like, "Oh, wow, you remember what we did? We went and we saw sunrise. I saw the eclipse while I was at work with like welding glass, and then we went and we watched the sunset too. So we did all three of those things in that day." And then we were talking about it. I was looking at the phase of the moon, right?
Yeah.
A solar eclipse requires a new moon, they claim, but it was a full moon yesterday, almost. Not completely full. It's actually still waxing gibbous, but it's nearly a full moon. So why is it that 365 days later, the moon phase is not the same as it was a year ago?
Well, because the moon cycle is 218 years. We can predict every single calculation of every phase of the moon, every eclipse, everything about the moon, past, present, and future, with 100 years in the box. It's a 212-year cycle, I think. I forget exactly there, but it's a 219-year cycle. The whole thing sets and will
the phase won't be the same like that again for that many years, is the point.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Exactly.
I didn't notice that about the moon ever.
Well, if you look up and there's one that you can download, the Antikythera device. There's a 3D one that you can put in the dates and stuff, and or turn the knob basically electronically, or let it run, and it'll show you all the phases of the moon from any date you set to any other date you set, past, present, or future. It's such a mechanical, precise system that it's a machine. Nothing ever changes. It is one huge machine.
James, you know what's funny? In our chat here like a week ago, there was someone who came in that must have been brand new to the channel, and they go, "Ha ha ha, you guys must think that it's a full moon all the time on a flat Earth." And I was like, well, I'm not going to tell you that I know exactly what causes the phases of the moon, but as far as I'm concerned, it seems like light shining from the sun. I will give you that. And he goes, "Oh, well, everybody knows that a crescent moon is caused by the Earth's shadow." And I was like, "Really, guy?"
Oh, really?
I was like, "You're not saying that every crescent moon is a lunar eclipse, are you?" And then he just disappeared. No one kicked him out. No one timed him out. No one removed any of his comments. He just totally walked away like nothing else to say after that, because he realized that he doesn't even know what causes the crescent moon, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's very precise. Within a few minutes, a few hundred years. You know?
It's funny because Globers act like the reason that they can predict lunar eclipses and solar eclipses is because they understand how spheres float around in space, but it's like that doesn't change the fact that the sun and the moon move consistently. They don't accelerate or decelerate, and anybody could do that math, flat or spherical, you know?
You know, if you knew how to make a few gears and stuff, And you know, you can buy Lego sets with gears and stuff with the right gear ratios. You can make your own damn Antiquitary device. If you look up YouTube Lego Antiquitary, you'll see 4 or 5 of them people have made, and they work. And they do it with Lego. It's that mechanical, that easily predictable. It's no big deal. Oh, the moon, the eclipses, it disappears 3 days, blah, blah, blah. Study that machine a few minutes and you'll start to see there's no mystery. It's as, like I say, if we were hurling through space after a big bang, you know, Orion's belt, we wouldn't see it the same all the time. You know, close together at the horizon, spreading apart a bit when it crosses the sky and tightening up again at the other horizon, you know. Nothing's moving up there. In a sense, in the sense that expanding away from everything else and hurling towards a great attractor.
Well,
everything
the whole
up there
galaxy is supposed to be traveling together in one direction, right? I mean, if they tell you the whole galaxy is traveling in one direction, so therefore it's got to be heading to somewhere, heading from somewhere.
No. And not from after an explosion. You don't travel in a whole bunch of stuff in the straight line. You know, any explosion you see makes like a bell, a dome, right? If you watch a shock wave on a bomb, it's a ring. It expands outward. Whatever, you know, it's doesn't conform to straight lines with several tons in one straight line.
When they create these scenarios about space in the I guess the setting of the scenario, they can totally create whatever setting they want. They can remove all of the natural environment you'd find on Earth, so to speak.
Well,
and they're just like, well, it's airless, there's no gravity, blah blah blah. You know, there's no matter. They reduce every assumption away, and now they got this basically fake scenario. You know,
I would love nothing more to do a one-on-one with flat Earth math, but it's impossible for me. And that's because I don't rely on stuff like if. Now, here's one of his ifs, and that's a more recent one, but I have 2 good ifs from him. If you took 2 baseballs out into space and put them 1 meter apart, if you did that, and there's no other effect, you know, planet and gravity affecting them, their own gravities would pull them together in a week. Now, A, it's unprovable. It's, you know, farts. B, how do you counter that? Then you try to get practical on the ground and water being flat. Here's another quote from, relatively close quote from Flat Earth Math Charles. If he had an instrument precise enough, he could measure the curve in his bathtub full of water.
Yes, I think I heard him say that.
And another one, that's recent one from, I forget, he was with Southern, not Zionist, Southern Baptist, no, Southern Israelite. Anyway, he was doing an interview with a relatively new guy in the thing there, cerebral guy, a little. Anyway, his comment and his claim was that cavemen couldn't heat their caves without gravity, more or less. Somehow, gravity was involved in cavemen heating their caves.
Wow.
It's
That's
there.
like saying that Martian spaceships don't work without dark matter. You know what I mean? Something that's never been proven, proving something else that's never been proven.
Well, remember Bugs Bunny, that little Martian guy with the broom on his head?
Yeah, Marvin the Martian? Is that
Marvin?
That's
him, right? Him. He's still in charge, but he's a lot older, and he keeps secrets real well from Mars and stuff, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't ever tell a secret because he doesn't even have a mouth.
Yeah. And all he ever says is, "You make me angry. You make me very, very angry. Very angry indeed." Yeah,
I actually brought up to my friend the Bugs Bunny clip where he throws the baseball around the world. I brought that up to him the other day when we were talking about flat Earth, and I was like, "See how far back that shit goes?" I was like, "You remember the cartoon where he's like, it's a round, it's a flat," and then the other guy's like, "It's a round like a pizza," and then the other guy's like, "It's a flat like a head." or something like that, you know?
But the trivia questions is how many times does Bugs Bunny tap his foot before the ball comes back? Yeah.
Good question.
It's subtle, like on, I guess, Wilma and Fred Flintstone and stuff. Of course, everyone knows the world is flat, you know? And they did it on, what was that one with the dinosaurs there? Dinos? No.
Oh, that show was just called Dinosaurs, I think.
Yeah, simple name, eh?
Or The Dinosaurs. Something
The
simple
world
like
is
that.
like an orange. My arse. But yeah, they've been doing it for years. Look, Universal shoving their balls in your face at every movie from how many decades before even NASA they were pumping a ball.
Goes all the way back to 33, at least.
Has
I can
to be
tell you that
before
it goes
that,
back to
too.
the World's Fair, 1939.
'Cause
The
these-
television and the globe and the TV and the camera, all that are connected. 1939 World's Fair.
The space and space balls and planets was there in 1908 when John Carter was written by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Kind of time travel to Mars story. So that's
Have you ever
1909.
Have you ever investigated the company RCA? You ever really looked into RCA and how
RCA
they
Victor, yeah, the little
pioneered some of the
doggy.
television?
No, I read not about them, but just about, you know, because I know how televisions work and stuff, and, you know, flyback oscillators and sweep triggers and all the shit. And I also know some of the stuff of the, you know, it's funny, but if you take a swirly cutout and spin it in front of your eyes, in front of a black and white screen, you'll see color. You don't need color from the television to see color. There's a lot of weird phenomena with the eyes and with vision. Like I said, you can't trust your fucking eyes. And you're kind of a fool if you do. You trust your brain better. It's, you know? It's like in
a
Remo
wise man
Williams.
once told me, a wise man once told me, believe none of what you hear and only 50% of what you see.
What you see. You know, one of the things that I saw decades ago, but in Remo Williams, when he's got to jump these vertical 2x4s and stuff, and they're in this room, and he's got to jump from one to the other, balance, you know, on one foot, and well, his guru turns out the freaking light. They're not going anywhere. They're still going to be where they are. If you jump just right, you'll hit them. They're there. You don't need your eyes to see them. But anyway,
I don't want to blow the ending of the movie for anybody, but I'm telling you, the movie wasn't that great. If you saw the new Wrinkle in Time, I saw it. They get to the end or whatever, and almost like in a video game, they're trying to find a way up to a door, and it's all invisible platforms, and that's the whole concept. Is like if you just trust your eyes.
Williams? Oh, another film. You're talking another film.
It's the new Wrinkle in Time that came out like last year, or beginning of this year, I think. But yeah, so the last like room that they try to go through, there's these invisible platforms, and he climbs an invisible stairwell to get to the door. That, like, if he had just trusted his eyes, he wouldn't have found it, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Gotta talk to some.
It's a ding dong. Nothing but a ding dong. Hanging in my long johns. Oh, wrong song. It's a heartache. Nothing but a heartache. Run until your arms break. Oh yeah, there were a few big earthquakes. One in, I guess it was Guatemala or in South America, a 7 caused a bit of a tsunami. I
I
think
just came running in from outside. Was there a fourth Infinity Scream? I just heard somebody. Is there a fourth singer? Is Jimbo the Hidden Stone?
Yeah, oh yeah. I was the hidden star for a while. Yeah. By the way, may the fourth be with you.
Not today. I celebrate it. Actually, celebrate more. I get really drunk on May the Sith be with you. May the 5th. May the 6th.
Beethoven knocked. I opened the door, let him in. I never refuse a fifth.
I'm still trying to recover from alcohol poisoning. I think I should be all right by tonight.
Well, you try to eat before you drink, and I know you probably like hard stuff, but stick with wine and beer.
I do, but then I drink it all, and then now I gotta get more next time, and then now I can. Well, there's still some left. And
If you brewed your own beer, I don't know, you've probably done it before, but I don't drink as much of it, and I appreciate it more. Even though it's cheaper and I could drink more.
Even better way, just walk to the liquor store and walk your beer back, and you'll appreciate it more.
More, yeah. Or you do like, I guess, Neil Diamond, you get some Crackling Rose and you sing to it,
See, just getting into reminiscing at that time period. Just
well, if he made
cognac,
his booze money singing about it, Sparkling Rose, you're a store-bought woman, well, that same creative spirit could be applied to that old Jack Daniel has me in its spell or something,
Yep.
I know there's got to be some other hit songs with.
Can you think of a better way to spend your temporary time dancing on the layer cake graveyard that was the Titans than being drunk and merry and kicking ass? I mean, how it's like just Captain Jack Sparrow.
Enjoy and learn. Yeah. He's creative.
We're on graves here. Let's just all right. Well, when in Rome, all right.
Just don't sit on your lightsaber.
I just got back. What were you guys talking about?
Sitting on your lightsaber.
Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Layer cake graveyard. Layer
Before
cake
that?
graveyard.
Yeah, we're on top of Titan, on top of Giant, and we're walking on them.
You guys said something I wanted to comment on right before Layer Cake Graveyard.
Oh.
Have you been in Mount Sunshine? I'm walking on sunshine.
Maybe I'll think of it. Hold on.
Now, maybe these royals are descendants of some of these fallen. That's why they feel a claim.
Anyone who's white is, let's face it,
So
the angels that came down to save the frickin' Peruvians were white. The ones that came to save the natives were white in North America. God's good angels are white too. Not exclusively, I doubt, but certainly some warriors with swords are white.
You were speaking of Titans in all sizes.
Yeah.
You think they come in our size?
Yes. Well, no. Well, we are Titans to some, I believe, smaller humanoids. I mean, I believe they're fully developed humanoids, and of course, we have fossil remains of them that were 4 inches tall.
Shit's all over the place.
All over. You want to see some 4-inch tall humans? Perfectly developed, with wings, without wings. I got them.
Oh, you do? Well, I mean, I've seen the images. I call them images because I don't know if they're photographs.
Likely, some of them they found in the Antarctic. I kind of believe they were. These aren't, I don't think, fake specimens and stuff. It's all over when you start to look
about
miniature.
Oh, sorry.
I was just
going to ask, were you guys talking about songs that sold out by talking about liquor names?
Crackling Rose was the first one I thought of.
Here, I'll be right back.
The one Scotch, one bourbon, one beer, George Thorogood, it's generic. There's no company gonna do, any real business.
Well, George Thorogood, I was gonna say George Thorogood has that song "I Drink Alone," and he mentions like every type of alcohol, almost like he's selling out.
Huh.
Talking about like
When
Budweiser.
I drink a loon. Okay, yeah, I think
Cavemen.
he does name a bunch in that one. You're right, yeah. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, he does.
He's like, nobody will hang out with me except for my old buddy Weiser or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, he artifies it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he tries to name drop like every alcohol he could think of, I guess.
He did Bad to the Bone, too.
Sammy Hagar.
One from Terminator.
Sammy Hagar named his tequila company after the name of his band. So whenever you see like Cabo Wabo Tequila, that's like he's already plugging the band Cabo Wabos, you know?
I have never heard of
Kind
Cabo
of a weird
Wabo.
cross.
Either as a band
Yeah,
or
weird.
as tequila.
Yep, I think that the two of them kind of subsidize each other, but he's the main proprietor of both. Like he runs the band and he's in charge of the tequila company. So he must, like Agave's talked about, he must buy up tequilas or the actual agave itself to make
Or
the
he
tequila.
just, takes another producer that labels their own and he puts his label on some of, basically their inventory. Here I could market wine and stuff. I just buy from someone and put my label, Like
Yeah.
apple juice, you might have 50 cans of apple juice, 48 ounces or something. There's probably only 2 companies or 3 companies that actually are canning for 50 or 100 labels. Same with peas, carrots,
olive oil.
you name it. It don't matter the label.
Olive oil, people stored it on because they take the pure olive oil and they dilute it and then they put it in a different label,
Yep. Olive oil, if you put it in the freezer and it gels up and congeals and won't pour, it is not pure olive oil. End of story. Pure olive oil, real olive oil, you can put it in the freezer, it will not freeze. So it's an easy test. If you got a freezer. But again, if it's in a glass bottle, make sure you put some in a plastic thing and put the plastic in the freezer.
Yeah, and then in the same token, when you're a kid and you drink your parents' vodka, when you drink your parents' vodka and you water it down too much and put it back in the freezer, it's going to freeze if it's too watery. So.
Yeah, you got to learn techniques,
Don't get greedy.
Yeah.
Do some science.
Yeah, don't get greedy on the vodka. You can't water it down too much; you'll get caught.
You get too greedy, you get caught. That's it. You got to get a whole new supply then.
In Quebec, it wasn't so much when I worked at bars and stuff, watering it down. We didn't water it down. But what we do is the bottles that had their label that their duty or tax to the provincial government was paid, we're supposed to destroy them, and put in a new one with a new label and tax paid. But what we do is we open a new bottle and take out the little funnel and transfer it from the bottle that the regular citizen would pay the price for. Instead of paying $8 in taxes on your bottle, you send me to the store and I bring back all your booze and I rebottle it in your bottles that have your tax little sticker on them.
They do something like that with the cigarettes from St. Petersburg and places in Russia.
Oh, with everything. Why do you think France has Saint Pierre and Miquelon? A couple miles off Newfoundland. There's no logical reason on earth that should be a French colony there and be under French flag and sovereignty. That should absolutely be Canadian. That's so that they can use it as a pirate base. Tax-free, smuggle this, do that. That's why we have all this. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. It's kind of a sensitive subject.
Maritime law loopholes, right?
Yeah, but why is there a piece of France just a few miles offshore of Canada that our customs can't do nothing about anything? They could move nuclear missiles there. It's none of our fucking business and it's 2 miles from our coast? Give me a break. It's all games and bullshit. We're being ripped off, lied to, cheated, stolen from, forked in the ass, basically.
It's like
time to wake up. Some awake around here, but in the global reality, there ain't much awake there. Time to kick butt. Keep kicking butt. Like I say, I know it. Flat Earth, it's finished now for the globe. Flat Earth is in the driver's seat. Globers are in the bitch seat. And it's going to be like that from now till eternity. It's not CBS, NBC, little lying media corporations. I don't care if they have $1 trillion. They can't stop this. It's over. You know?
Well, it's funny. They have no use for critical thinkers. What they want is obedient workers, you know?
Well, they want to feminize. I thought about the Philippines because I mentioned that because, you know, I check a lot of news and watch a lot of stuff, and fuck, are there a lot of femme little boy men in that country. They're skinny, they're feminine, they're gay.
Well, you got to be careful there here.
Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't, you know, I'm going to say what I got to say.
No. You got to be careful when you're there about like making sure you're getting the right, you know, order on your menu.
This is a place that has dictators. Imelda Marcos, her husband, she had like 800 pairs of shoes, and she had gold-plated brassieres and all kinds of funky stuff. They exploited the people. And anyway, one of the things dictators like is disarming people before they kill a bunch of people or do whatever they want to do. That's one thing. But if your population is already mostly femme, i.e. not real men who don't know how to defend themselves and other people and their family and whatever, then it's an easier pushover. It's an easier walkover.
Exactly what they're doing.
Besides, if all these people are corrupted already and pretty weird, they're going to be following you anyway as your dictator. Suck any dick.
I'm with you on that notion because it's not about saying anything about someone's choice of gender. It's about people actively trying to emasculate and take away that, like, well, it's kind of sexist to say, but like that masculine will to fight or whatever, you know, because women can do it too, but they're worried about the men, I guess. Men are always worried about other men, you know.
I sort of figure they're giving them, you know, that they know a lot of chemistry and stuff in this world, and I think they're giving them stuff to effeminize them, period. Whether it's
estrogen, that's all you need to do.
Or estrogen derivatives from synthetics, I don't know. They're doing something.
That's all they need to do is put estrogen into a drinking supply, and then everybody's drinking it. It sounds fucked up, right? It sounds like evil scientist shit, but it's possible.
Likely with evidence.
And if you're eating chicken with all those extra hormones in it and you're growing man boobs, I mean, isn't that pretty close? That's almost exactly what we're describing here.
Look what we're dealing with. We have Jared here to give us a prime example. I mean, come on. We're seeing it in action.
But no, I mean, not to make it an insult towards anybody or anything, like, not that you are, but like gynecomastia, that's a perfect example of, you know, like when a man grows basically boobs from having too much fatty tissue in his chest. And how is that not like a hormone therapy that transgender people go through? It's like the same fucking thing in a way, you know? You don't get gynecomastia from sitting on the couch. You get that from eating food that's been injected with hormones, you know? If you get the chicken sandwich at Wendy's every day, you're going to have gynecomastia. It's like a guarantee.
But no, it isn't, because I used to get the spicy chicken fillet at Wendy's. I didn't get that. I did stop eventually eating that, but
well, maybe you only have an A cup though, and you just don't notice.
That toy.
You didn't reach the C cup.
No. I never got past A.
Jibby's a truly flat earther.
Oh, it's most stationary. So yeah.
Yeah, Jared is actually the least stationary flat earther when you think about it. He's never in one place when he's on the Hangout.
You're actually right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Jared makes moves through area codes like no one's business.
Uber was.
Oh man, the storm clouds here, and these jets just flew over even lower than when I complained earlier. Wow, they're like right there.
Commercial jets?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And the lady told me where I'm at. I'm 15 miles from Logan Airport, right? And she said that, you know, that's relatively close to the airport when you think about it. But I kind of call bullshit on her because I've done the math myself. It's more like 25 miles. And if you drove, it would be 30, you know?
That's why are they doing this all of a sudden?
Well, right now there's a storm coming through, and all these dark clouds just rolled over, so they're coming in under the low ceiling, as they call it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But I did mention to the lady at Massport, the Massachusetts Port Authority, I was like, I don't know exactly what changed, but like within the last 2 years, I've noticed, other people have noticed, you guys are coming in lower and lower with the airplanes. What's the deal with that,
What'd she say?
But I mean, it makes sense if there's a storm. It's just like
planes with the chemtrails, they're not at 30,000 feet. I look over Ottawa all the time. I can see the bellies of these planes and their trails really well. They ain't at 35,000 feet. I don't believe it for a minute. They're well under 10,000 feet. They're well under 5,000 feet. Some of them are barely
when I flew on my last flight, James, as we were going up on the ascent, we went through that chem layer, and I swear, like, it was only at like 10,000 feet. We weren't even halfway through our ascent to 37,000 when we hit it.
Yeah, we got.
And as soon as you went through it, you noticed it was very thin. It's not like a cumulonimbus cloud, the chem layer. It's very flat.
Well, again, how you see it depends on the angle and where the light is going through it, how long it's been dispersed. A lot of factors involved. The sheer wind.
It seems to have a certain buoyancy, though, where it doesn't drop all the way to the ground. Like, it finds an altitude that it likes as an equilibrium, and it's like when someone turns on a fog machine and it spreads across the floor. It does that at like 10,000 feet.
Humidity level that it reaches a certain point where it just becomes that buoyant. Humidity and temperature, and then it's a layer that it's just right where it wants.
The thing is, though, is they don't want you to believe that it's like sulfides and sulfur compounds that they're emitting on purpose for solar radiation management. They're trying to reduce the amount of sunlight so that they can claim they have a solution to global warming. In quotes. I'm doing that in the air right now.
Severe underestimation of what they're pumping out. To think that it's only aluminum and barium, some sulfuric acids or sulfates and other stuff. Whoa, the whole gambit. And there's no question. They're just like we use bacteria to eat sugars and different things to give us emulsions for cold creams and stuff. I'm sure they're trying, quote, bacteria and even viral methods of modifying the air and the atmosphere so that it can, quote, do whatever they want to do for blocking radiation.
Instead of just inert compounds, they can actually drop living organisms on the micro level or whatever. And you've heard of nanoparticles, right?
Yes.
Little tiny nano machines and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very real stuff.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt,
Oh, Jared, you back?
Just real quick. If somebody can help me find an example of a counterclaim in common law, that'd be great. Appreciate it, because I cannot find it.
Counterclaim? Well, usually, counterclaims are introduced after a decision. Only if you win a case that you're defending against or defending in, if the judge rules in your favor against whatever you're charged with, or whatever you're supposed to, money or whatever. If whoever's after you fails in their charge with the court,
no. This isn't civil. This is criminal.
Oh,
different. This is I have to file this counterclaim before the 30th.
You should talk to Poncho as soon as possible.
Well, I mean, I've thrown it out there. I need examples of this. For some reason, people seem to not want to give it to me. I don't know why.
Well, I know it in civil, but I'm not sure if I understand in
criminal, like in common law, criminal. If you don't hurt another person, then they have no jurisdiction over their codes and whatnot. Like common law is a higher court.
Yeah, but hurt, damages, and restitution can be defined if I damage your property. It's not you personally, but it's...
Yeah, I got caught with weed in there. I didn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah, that doesn't damage anyone, truly. It's a marijuana issue, eh?
Yeah.
Did they test it for tetrahydrocannabinols? Because you're allowed to have weed that has only cannabidiols in any state.
Right. It was right. You claim there's absolutely no THC.
Clear about it. If you didn't try to sell it to anybody.
Off of a plate.
Pardon me?
It was shake off of a plate. ridiculous.
Was it in a
They
bag
do
or not?
assays on it. You know, you can, if it was really just some shake, you can say it was something else. Anyway, you can claim it was just non-THC containing, no psychoactive component. Hemp.
Here's a good question, Jared. Jared, here's a good question. Very, very important point. Can they still present that evidence? Do they still have the evidence to prove the crime? Or is it somehow no longer exists? Because you'd be surprised how often people's weed disappears in a case like that. And it's like, oh, prove you even have the weed. And they can't prove it if they've already done something illegal with it.
Carl,
if it was only a small sample too, if they had to do assays on it, like what they call the homofluorescein test to test for THCs, they probably wouldn't have enough to do 2 times. So they couldn't even
They wouldn't have enough to retest it. So you should claim you want a new test.
Yeah, claim it was just hemp, and you know, because hemp is legal everywhere. So it contains only cannabidiol. Say it had no psychoactive elements, and you want it tested for, you know, a homofluorescein reaction for tetrahydrocannabinols, and
you know what?
have enough
You know
to
what?
do that.
Jared, read the definition of what marijuana actually is. And marijuana is only the bud, the seeds, and the stems, I believe, the smallest stems. Cannabis is the plant. So if they claim that you had marijuana, I mean, the definition of marijuana is sketchy enough to where they could make that mistake. You could say that all you had was cannabis, or hemp, you know?
I've done my due diligence and looking this up and researching, and this is my only play is to do this. So, I mean, like all those things you're saying, like I don't have to prove any of that.
But they have to prove that it has.
But listen,
yeah,
once I get a counterclaim and I put it, I file it, I give a copy to the clerk, I give a copy to the prosecutor, and a copy to the judge. Is then common law, which overrules their stupid court. Then I turn it into my court. Like
you can request a jury, I think, as well. No, am I mistaken?
It stops everything. Stops everything. They cannot move forward until they prove jurisdiction, which means they have to prove that I was trying to hurt somebody else. That's impossible because I wasn't. I was just sitting in a parking lot. So they're fucked. I'm going to use this. I need to find an example. I can do this. I need to do it ASAP. It's my perfect opportunity to use
Colorado?
No, Kansas.
For real, Kansas?
The common law is everywhere. Common law is common law. So.
I know, but you were charged in a state, a particular state.
The state of Kansas.
Wasn't that on someone's private property, by the way? It's raining in the background here. You might not be able to hear me that well, but wasn't that on someone's private property and not on a public road?
Nope.
It was a public parking lot?
It was a public parking lot.
That's not good.
The other one, the private one, was a church parking lot.
What were cops doing in a public parking lot?
Dude, it's crazy. I don't get on you guys, but I've been rolled up on at least 6 times since I've been out on the streets.
Because that kind of thing looks suspicious.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, no big deal. Like, I don't think they're after me or anything like that. So it is weird.
Bad luck.
Well, maybe that could be some sort of case for you. Is that although you shouldn't have had that on you?
All the other options, bro. I'm not gonna get a lawyer. I'm not gonna do any of that crap. If I file these, if I file these claims, then that's my best bet. That's what I got to go with. So, you guys.
So you're trying to find an example of one that you can model yours after?
Exactly. That's what I need. It doesn't even need to be typed. All it needs to be is have this counterclaim. Yeah, a counterclaim for jurisdiction in a criminal court,
and damages, because it does cause duress, and you're suffering from it.
Exactly. There you go.
They give you the charge, give them the bill thing.
Right.
Often and ideally, I'd sue for $1 in damages. It's symbolic, but it's taken with more respect than if you say try for 10,000 or 50,000 or something. It's symbolic, but it's important. Like when you buy a house for $1, you actually pay $1.
Uber, are you there? I got to get him on it.
What's up, man?
Okay, so I did all my research. I have one play, and it's to file a counterclaim of jurisdiction against Kansas for this charge. They're going to try to charge me with these 2 bullshit marijuana charges and try to give me 4.5 months of house arrest. I ain't doing that. So I need to find an example of a counterclaim so that I know what to write. I have all the wording and everything to write. I just need to make sure I can see one so I know exactly, because they mean it when you say dot your I's and cross your T's, because if I don't.
4 months of house arrest for real? That's time to grow a crop.
Jared, you were saying that you've been researching this, right?
Yes.
So why didn't you find one if it's been done?
That's why I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if I'm putting in different, like, what do I need to put in the searches? Because every time I put it in, it gives me some website that, it's just a bunch of.
What state was it?
Find legal help.
You
can call legal aid, Jared. You can call for legal aid and just get some free help with that. And basically, these people work for free. The legal aid.
I called 2 lawyers and they both wouldn't help me. They said that they're obligated to their whatever law thing oath, not to go against the Constitution.
So, Jared, what state was it in?
It was in Kansas.
Alrighty. Let's see.
I mean, I typed in Kansas jurisdiction. I mean, all the different types of things. Like, man, you just can't figure it out. I know they're out there because people have said that's where you find them. You just got to do some looking.
There's a lot of people that say that when they've never found it themselves and they're trying to just pass you along.
Yeah.
Well, I can give you a secret how a bunch of people beat drunk driving charges, and it sort of applies to this too. The chemical breathalyzers use potassium bichromate to detect for a methyl group, not an alcohol group. So for the very few people who know that in the lawyer world, they use that. They keep it sort of under their hat. Most people that don't have good lawyers go in their chemical breathalyzer with this bichromate machine, stands. But legally, chemically, scientifically, it does not detect alcohol, 0%. It's not made for that. So it's a psychological type of
See, Jared,
putting people in jail and finding them guilty has nothing to do with chemistry.
You're facing a possession charge.
It's still a criminal charge in that state, subject to a $2,500 fine or 1 year in jail. It's pretty serious. It's senseless too. But like I say, for it to qualify as the actual hallucinating drug marijuana, they have to prove that it contains active tetrahydrocannabinols. They have to do chemical assays. If there's not enough of the product in their seizure to do assays, then they can't even do a test to see whether. And if they do a test, they don't have the evidence no more. If it was less than a gram on a plate, they have to take that to do the test. If they do the test, they don't have evidence.
I agree with you. Yeah, the chances are that they don't have enough of it to prove anything a second time around if they did the first time.
Very often, they don't want to do these tests.
Right. They'll just be like, ugh, just more cluttering of the system. And get them out.
To do all these different things that these labs have to do, they have an array, a battery of solvents, indicators, you name it. It's a nightmare. It ain't easy. And
because it's such a little
certain quantities to do assay tests.
Yeah, they might just be like, all right, just a small fine probation.
If their solutions were too old, they have to redo it. They get, bad results. They don't have no more product to do it on. Sorry, the results weren't conclusive, and we didn't have enough to do another test.
This stuff is real, Jay. That stuff is true.
You lock them down in the same type of bound engagement for the law and its precision and letter, and you hold them to it. Like I say, if you know that a chemical breathalyzer that uses bichromate addition to detect for alcohol does not detect for alcohol, then you have something to fight with. You have a leg to stand on in court. In court, they need to present evidence. It'll be in a sample bag, an evidence sample bar, my Exhibit A or something. Well, if there's only a quarter gram and they had to use it for their assays, then all they'll have is a piece of paper that says we tested it, and where's the rest of it? Now you have a paper that says you found something in nothing because you have nothing to show. What you have, anyway. You take them to task. Probably costs them over $1,000 to do paperwork, all that stuff, just to do a test on a few, 0.2 of a gram or however much it was. If it was really just some trace of it on a plate, I mean, it's easy. It's not enough even to test. Should walk. Take them to town. But most cheap budget lawyers will tell you, "Oh, plead guilty and we'll ask to get something reduced sentence and punishment," bullshit like that, But no, take them to town. Just force them to do their job.
Yep, I had to deal with a lawyer like that I thought was going to fight for my case. And then he basically was like, "Oh, we'll just see if we can get it reduced and all this shit." And I was like, "No, you need to point out that there's lies in the police report." And he was basically like, "Look, there's lies in every police report if you haven't noticed that. So that's not good enough." And I was like, "It is good enough."
Hell yeah, a police report is a lie.
Until you have a police report written about you and you see the lies for yourself of your own account of what happened and how they lie in the report, people don't believe that.
Yeah. And they write down the lies of other people who didn't really even see anything. I've done accidents where 6 months down the road, a witness comes forward. And guess what? He's retired from the Canadian military. Oh, really? Just happened to be in the town at that time. And why didn't he come forward back then? He's a good man, upstanding citizen, Canadian retired military. But he waited 6 months to come out and say, "Oh, I saw that accident. He looked drunk and he..." Give me a break. That's so the insurance don't have to fucking pay. They pay him some money to lie on someone. It's just fuck them. Anyway.
Which is hilarious because that's actually considered insurance fraud, just like if you and another person crash into each other on purpose.
But it's cheaper for the insurance company to pay some sellout cocksucker like that a couple of grand to lie than maybe $100,000 for liability. It don't even make it to court when you got a liar before court. You see how it works? Anyway, it's rigged. The system is fixed. They send people to jail because people in jail, well, they have loose lips. Well, guess who they put in jails? Retired people from the federal government. They go in for a weekend with their shaving kit and stuff, and they sit around with the population. They're paid to do it, and they listen and they hear stuff. Drug talk, gun talk, job talk. And then after the weekend, or you can go in a couple of days here and there in a stretch. But they're paid to go to jail and spy.
Yep, and agencies like the CIA and the FBI have listening outposts where, you may not identify it as a place where someone's doing that, but it's a covert location for them to literally listen in on whatever they need to, or some high up vantage point where they can actually monitor things visually,
Mm-hmm.
And secret cameras and microphones also are a part of that.
Well, it's like you know, their mentality and behavior, the military and these psychopaths who are over it and above it, like masters of puppets. When they took over the boreals and the atolls, if the people didn't want to leave, that was okay. They started cutting off their food supplies, poisoning the land, killing their pets, etc., until enough was enough. They left. Most of them not knowing where the fuck they were going to go or be taken. So that, you know, America, everyone says, oh, democracy, we get to vote, wow, wow, wow. Boy, oh boy. So superficial.
Right, and there was people that tried to return to the Bikini Atolls too. You ever heard about those people that they returned in the 70s and lots of them got sick and died and the family tried to sue the federal government, but it never got anywhere?
No. Well, I'm sure some of the poisons that they left behind are, you know, they're still around.
In fact, there's actually this thing called the dome, which is a giant cement dome where they literally just buried and capped off all this nuclear waste from shit like that. They picked up all the pieces on the beach. They can claim
it's nuclear. I just think it's a lot of garbage what they have there, and poison and toxic, sure, like they have everywhere. And sometimes too, it's like they did with the Ukraine. Many areas in the Ukraine are perfectly safe to live, but they're marked like radioactive, and it's just exclusion zones. They're trying to make more and more places where psychological barriers, oh, it's radioactive, oh, it's this or that, it's dangerous to go there, where you simply don't go because it's a mental barrier now they've imposed on you.
Yeah, look at the geographical location of the restricted zone around Chernobyl. It divides the East and the West, you know? It's the exact spot on the map of the Earth that you'd want to fucking put a divide if you wanted to keep the West and East separate, would have been where Chernobyl was.
It's a military choice. A DMZ. Well, DMZ. Militarized zone. Logistically important. That's what you're saying. Like
yeah, you remember the scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind when he gets to the Devil's Peak or whatever, and he goes to go into the restricted area? He starts telling people, like, you can breathe the air, they're lying to us. Like, the government literally lied in that movie to say you shouldn't go into this area because it's all toxic, you know, like.
Oh yeah,
and he knew to go anyways because the aliens were signaling him, whatever, alien extraterrestrials. But the government lies like that, you know.
The Force doesn't.
All governments lie, I should say, not just the government. All governments.
Yep.
They couldn't buddy you up with the truth, you know. They're not going to cheer you up with the truth.
You don't give a shit.
They want you to like what they're doing. You know, they want to try to create this like happy-go-lucky little play or theater around them. You know,
they want general stability in their corporation.
Yeah, Trump seems pissed that not everybody's just falling all over him and praising him. You know, like he's pissed that people aren't just automatically taking his side on things as Americans. Not to make it about Trump, but
where does that come from? How do you know he's pissed? How do you know he's pissed?
It just, that's the way it comes across to me. It seems like to the rest of the world he would hope that we would just follow him, you know?
You know, Roddy Piper, he seems awful pissed at Hulk Hogan. You're watching the show. You're trying to get some real out of the show?
No, what I'm saying is people don't believe what he says, and that to him is like defeating to his little game of making the rest of the world think that the whole country's behind him, you know? He wants to tell the rest of the world that the whole country's actually behind him.
Isn't that what they all do?
That's what they all do, but I mean, I feel like he's pissed off because it's not working. Like only 25% of the people that I talk to are actually like, oh yeah, Trump's a good guy, you know, like that kind of thing, you know, like they try to defend him. They want every person in the civilization to follow their lead, you know. They don't want dissent. I'm not saying I believe anything that he says or that I'm told because the other side says so or anything like that. It's just I'm against anybody walking in and trying to be a bullshitter like him, you know? President XYZ, whoever it's going to be, like, don't be full of shit. That's what I'm against.
When Jimbo jump out. I don't even. The only way I remember who the vice president is because of my neighbor's sign in their yard back during the election. Who was running with Trump. Other than that, I never heard his name on television. I've never heard his name on the radio. It was because of my neighbor's sign. That's that. Otherwise, I wouldn't know who the vice president is. It's
well,
not my bag.
I don't want to try to comment on whether or not he's actually doing a good job or if anybody's doing a good job, because I'm just not for all that. Like, I want to see just less being told what to do by government and less restriction on how to live and actual freedom and shit. You know? If you follow a political party and you do what the party says, then it's the same thing as being a shill. That's literally being a shill. Because you do it just because that's what the party tells you to do, and you got to stay with the party, right?
People do, like Christians vote Republican. That's just like, it's hand in hand. So it's like, well, you're nothing more than a drone.
You're choosing to be a pawn if you're going to be part of a party, because you're not in charge of that party, you know?
We don't have a say in any of this shit. We never did. If I don't have a say in it, I'm not playing the game. Have fun your own little club. It's stupid.
Yeah, nobody wants to play the game called 3 for me, 1 for you. 3 for me, none for you. You know, nobody wants to play that fucking game. That's bullshit. But here we are on round 1 million, and we're still playing somehow, even though we don't want to be.
If I vote for somebody in my local election, and there's a $1,000 check safety pin to my vote, I'm going to get a favor when they're elected. And this is how it all works. You get your favors from friends, but then you get your sponsorship, all of this stuff. It's money on the way up, money on the way down, and a lot of gray hair added in during the time. But
yeah, and if it costs millions and millions just to campaign, how is that a fair election? Like, if you can't enter the campaign because you can't afford it, then how is that a fair election? It should be about
gas prices. Yeah, gas prices. You got to drive across America, and it's expensive. Yeah.
Like, the average campaign costs just keep going up, you know?
You have to pay for wherever you go, the Secret Service goes. Now, it's not just, okay, me and Hillary and the kids. No, it's you, Hillary, and the kids, and these 50 guys, and their weapons, and their transportation. It's just for everywhere. I got to go to the market. That just cost the taxpayers $100,000. It's absurd. It's so silly. I just laugh at it from afar.
I get outraged by the fact that people are handing out money for bribes when we're trying to keep our taxes from being raised on us so that they can take that money and spend it in fucked up ways we don't want. It's like, just that whole concept of paying taxes, then not getting what you want, and then knowing that bribes occur with larger amounts of money than is taken out of your pockets too. It's like, people getting bribed huge amounts. They're not getting bribed $100.
And the people taking
they're not getting bribed $500,000 to buy a house. They're getting bribed millions.
And they're taking the money and they're making bullets, making bombs. And I'm not.
Yeah, it sounds very James Bondish, but you could have $100 million deposited in a Swiss bank account tomorrow if you do what we say. You know.
Sign me up.
100 million. 100 million, not 100,000.
Do you not think I'm an asset, Echelon? Sign me up. I'll do something. You can find something for me to do.
Oh, and you know what they like to do too? They like to kill you after and take the money back.
Yeah. It's not like I'm not going to try to sneak to the North Pole at day 2. Yeah, I'll be there Monday morning. Gone.
Santa Claus would turn you in because he's a law-abiding citizen.
I'd be like, how much for this rocket balloon? Well, it's only a prototype. I'll take it. Like I'll be there tonight. Don't waste time. Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, by the way, Jibby, I think I thought of the only flat Earth video game that specifically has flat Earth tendencies all over it. Do you remember the original Toe Jam and Earl?
Breakout, Yar's
Sega
Revenge.
Genesis?
I can go through them. Which one?
Think about Toe Jam and Earl, though. You remember how that game works?
No, I don't.
You're trying to
It's
find like the elevator to go from level to level up, but it's all like flat planes of just the ground.
That's Burger Time. That's, oh my God, I can go through a whole list of them, dude. Elevator Action.
No, I'm not just talking about platforms, though. Like the way that they made the game look. It looks some type of flat planet, you know?
But let's look at some of the first games. Pong. Space Invaders. Asteroids. Breakout.
Tempest.
Are they trying to say something?
You could be onto something. I got no immediate answer to that.
I used to root for the Ghost Monsters and Pac-Man because I thought Pac-Man was the bad guy and they were the police because they used to go woo 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 as they chased him. It's like the cops. It's like, it's almost like, is it a subconscious training to run from the police? And when they turn blue, that's when Pac-Man goes after them. It's like, what? So now they're blue police siren sounds. And yeah, and then they turn into ghosts and they go back to headquarters. They go back to the center. Just the eyes go back to the center. Your eyes go back to the center. You get a new body. And then you come back out. Where did this shit come from?
Interesting.
My first vision of a game might have been, all right, so we're going to travel through space and then visit other worlds and start. That would have been like the first game, not this bink, bonk, break it out. And dun, 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 dun. And every time the aliens made a pass, they got lower. That's a clue. Eventually, what happened? Graveyard, mud flood.
Even the game Centipede or Millipede, right? Wasn't that about an alien? Extraterrestrial?
Millipede was, I think he started off as just like a very small caterpillar and you gained, I can't remember.
I think if you look at the video game poster, though, and like the cover of the game itself, like they make it look like it's coming from some alien planet, you know?
Mission Impossible. No, am I thinking not Mission Impossible. Missile Command, Missile Attack. I don't know. Millipede.
Yeah, I played Missile Command on a hangout recently on my arcade. That's a hard game.
Yes, it is. You have to shoot ahead of the rockets, and you got to do it just right.
And you have only so many missiles on each little launch site, and you have 3 different launch sites on your terrain there.
Eventually, the way the games are is they just get exponentially harder until that's it. No human can get past this part.
What wasn't the computer playing that against itself in the movie War Games or DEFCON 5 or whatever that was called?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly that game, but it was the same type graphics. Yeah, the little dotted line comes at it, and then the explosion.
Oh yeah, the kid's like, let's play thermonuclear global warfare.
Yes,
and the computer's like, sure, I love that game.
Yes, it's a game. And when the nukes were hitting the targets, even in the computer was showing it, nothing was happening in the real world. It's not real. It wasn't even real when it took over NORAD's computers or whatever, and they went to DEFCON 1. The missiles still weren't, well, they were arming up or whatever, but you would see like the but it appeared like they launched, but nothing happened. You know, you got to look at it from like a child's perspective. Nothing really
In
happened.
that scene too, like the computer's playing out all the scenarios as if it's playing tic-tac-toe against itself in every possible outcome, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like Russia strikes first, US strikes first. Like you remember that scene where it's just like
Yeah.
keeps putting out a scenario and it's like no winners. Another scenario, no winners, you know?
No winners.
Because it was trying to find a scenario where someone would win. But I mean, then again, that's feeding the whole nuclear fear, you know?
Maybe, what is it?
Surreal.
Maybe one shouldn't play a game one cannot win. How about a nice game of chess?
Yeah. That's how it ends, right?
Yeah. Yeshua was the computer. The son, Yeshua. His son, his lost son that died. That's the computer's name. That was the password, Joshua.
Yeah,
He was Professor Falcon's dead son. Professor Falcon? The sun god? Well, I don't know. Nothing to see there.
Snack in here somewhere? Snack, you there?
Do you read me? Come in, Snack.
Missile command, that was it. Yeah. I would have to go with a negative on that.
Car 54, where are you?
That's a 9. That's an upside down 6.
It's the weirdest thing. Like, it clearly states exactly what your right is of this. It tells you you can do it. And when it comes to examples, you can't find one to save your life.
Try your search in exact quotes for some of it. Put the quote marks in there. That way you will get those 3 or 4 words in that exact order. And that will narrow your search a little more specifically.
Yeah.
But they have to be those words in that order of that sentence. Like,
maybe if I
little boy blue who, and then you put that in quotes, and then anything with the words little boy blue who would come up. And it would have to be those words consecutively in that order.
Okay.
It just narrows the search a lot.
We should do a
In
Google
your
search.
situation, I don't know.
In quotes. Stratospheric.
By the way, Jibby, that search parameter would probably give you some very interesting results. You'd probably get a lot of like if you're asking the internet who Little Boy Blue.
Oh yeah. You needed the money. Andrew Dice Clay will be the first links to come up.
I'm just saying. I know that if I type into the Google search bar, Little Boy Blue who, I probably would get a lot of websites that I really don't want to be taking a look at.
I should have just stopped at Little Boy Blue.
Well, that just so reminds me of this joke I heard a long ass time ago where little girl walks into class and teacher asks her where she's been, and she tells them, I was down by the lake blowing bubbles.
Who's
and,
Bubbles?
Another little girl walks in a little bit late. Teacher asks her, where have you been? And she goes, well, I've been down by the lake blowing bubbles. And about 5 minutes later, a boy walks in, and the teacher goes, let me guess, you were down by the lake blowing bubbles too? And he goes, no, sir, my name is Bubbles.
Yep, I knew where it was going. I thought you were going to go with a clown, though, an adult or something horrible. But
Stupid ass jokes that you remember from a long ass time ago, right? Man, why am I having so much trouble getting this freaking picture? That's weird.
Shit.
I'm trying to steal that picture that Karen's got on her Facebook. Because it looks like a silver lining to a cloud. You know what? I guess I'm gonna have to go to the PC to be able to get this. What the fuck, people? Let's see if I can get this. It's weird. Sometimes on my phone, it won't let me save pictures off of Facebook. But if I go on my computer, I can. You see? That's weird. Okay, so Jared's actually gone over those before. Let's try to put counterclaim jurisdiction in quotes. Oh shit, I was in the middle of checking my blood sugar. That's right.
Ugh. Wow.
So, you know what, man? Something. I was thinking about that conversation earlier with Dan, right? And something about that conversation kept rubbing me kind of wrong. And then I realized what it was. Dan kept saying the words to Haunted. He kept saying, I need you.
I need you. I need you. He kept saying that over and over again. I noticed it too. I'm going to need you to. I'm like, I kept saying, why?
Dude, I swear to God, I wanted to pull up the fucking meme from Office Space, man. Where he's talking to the boss and he's like, yeah, we're going to need you to. I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. Or if you could come in on Saturday, that'd be great. And it's like, dude. I'm going to need you to put on a lab coat, Jared.
Yeah, I know.
No, fuck off. I don't want to put on a lab coat. Like, if I wanted to, guess what? I'd have a lab coat on.
I know the exact thing that he said that got Dan going. I know exactly what it was.
Seriously? That's as bad as these people that believe the globe just because everyone else is believing they live on a fucking ball, you know? Like, I'm not doing this because everybody's fucking doing it. I'm doing this because, guess what? It's the truth.
Yeah, we ain't. I think it's pretty clear that we don't give a shit about stuff. Numbers and of course we care about numbers, but not in that way. Not in a popularity contest sort of way. I do feel this overwhelming, and it's overwhelming push to keep doing it from whatever you want to call it. You want to call it God, whatever. But I think it must be Jimmy. Because I love Jimmy. I love me some Jimmy.
You ever get your picture taken with Poncho?
Have I?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Oh.
Poncho will pose pictures. He'll do it for little baby guppies. He'll make funny faces for the camera. He'll be wacky zany. He'll silly.
Oh. That's sweet. Kid's like, can you get that thing away from my head, please?
Like, what the hell is that thing? Spod. It's kind of cool.
I mean, I don't go back and like watch any of the previous shows, you know. So I don't know what it was last. Oh yeah, that's right. I had the fight with Felix, and I got off the deal. And, I was wanting to try to see if I could find the clip from it was me and Jibby and Snack in the morning, and it was funny as shit. It was really funny.
Dude, that argument seriously made no sense to me though. Like Dan was saying that everybody got off the panel because Haunted was talking too much on it. Yet he was also bitching about not being able to get on the panel while Haunted was on the panel. Like,
I didn't understand that part. Like, what's to stop him from interrupting Haunted's flow for a change of direction that he wanted to talk about?
dude, how often does the dynamic of the conversation change on this channel, man?
It's one of the cool things about this channel.
It's going to change in about a minute from now.
Well, you keep bringing up coincidence 666 shit. Yeah, of course. Wait, somebody found 666 in Heineken? Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to it. It's everywhere. I just like this. I just seen this new updated one, so I figured I'd share. I guess I could zoom in more.
Wait, does that mean that fidget spinners are satanic then?
Oh, I knew there was something wrong with them just for how widespread popular they were over what the hell is it? It looks like a TR3B in design, but the fact that everybody had them and was talking about them, and it's just everywhere, and the kids were just loving them, and it's like, what the hell are these things? Something's up with them.
Wait, so Adobe is satanic as well?
I wouldn't exclude Adobe from that crew. They're all, I mean, if you've heard of them, they're on TV, yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, I've seen like Toyota as well.
Yeah, you're on TV, you're on prime time. You might as well have gotten the sword across your shoulder. I dub thee one of us. You're there. Don't think you're gonna get anything good out of this shit.
I remember that symbol right there to the right of Coca-Cola and above Coincidence. I remember that being a large label on I think it was Disturbed. Yeah, Disturbed's album on their CD. It was all over their stuff. And then my grandma saw that one day and she was like, what the hell is this? And she opens up the lyrics page. Yeah, she tossed that shit into the wash next to the house.
This is funny.
She turned my CD into frisbees.
Good stuff. Wow, what's this in the Nokia? Way down here? Right inside? Like it's 2 digitized. 3 sets of 6. See that to me? Well, that 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3. Yeah, well that's plus this. Plus yeah, I see it.
But yeah, people should take this as an example of how quickly the conversation changes. We're like dogs that see a squirrel.
What is this Heineken upside down? Oh, the E's. All right. duh. But then, yeah, you get the red star with the 666. Just turn it upside down. That's hilarious. He in you? Yeah, sure. Right.
I like the Heineken one though, because that's legit. All you have to do is mirror it upside down, and everything is right there.
Yeah. Weight Watchers. Oh, I watched actual Weight Watchers soda wreck somebody.
Well, and you know what, man? Is it wouldn't if it just had the 3 E's, right? Okay, cool. You know, whatever. But the 3 E's, and then it just so happens that the star, like, why couldn't the star be cocked just a little bit, you know, to where it's off angle and not creating that same symbol that we all, you know, love to hate?
He in Eden? 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 He in Eden? He in Eden? I say, why we stop pissing around the bush? Let's get it out in the open. Stop teasing us. I mean, what's Satan going to do? Is it going to be a big elaborate thing when CERN opens up the gates of hell? Is he going to come up like in Thor Ragnarok with just this gigantic all the way to the sky fire monster with horns? Roar! I'm back! Or is it going to be subtle? It's going to happen like on a Tuesday, and he's just going to run across the world. Ha ha, bitches, I'm back! Like, how's it going to happen? Is it going to like interrupt? We interrupt this, but is Satan going to, the big fire demon, going to take control of live coverage cameras? Are people not going to shit themselves? And all right, we need a key grip over here. All right, we need the best boy over there. All right, we're going to need some border can lights right here. All right, we want to get a nice shading of light on Satan. Like, how is it going to go down? What's everybody expecting?
Well, Jibby, we're already in the middle of it, man, because
people are waiting. They don't.
There's a very, very effective counterfeit going on right now. It's the same counterfeit that you were born into, dude, with your family's church. The same counterfeit I was born into, bro. I was born into the fucking Mormon church. They're a cult. Are you kidding me? And it's all based off of the same counterfeit that's been around for a long time, and they've been perfecting it, bro. Like, they've really been perfecting it. And I usually tell people, I'm like, hey, you know what? If I was trying to pass off fake $100 bills, and I come up to pay for something that you're selling, and that counterfeit $100 bill is orange, how far am I going to get trying to spend these $100 bills? Fucking no one's going to pick them up, dude. Because they look like Monopoly money. Now, if I make a very good counterfeit, I can get away with it. Possibly.
I've heard of people who have.
Say what?
Those people you stay away from. You like smell. If you look at counterfeit money, you're doing 20 years. You'd be better off with child porn and murder.
You know what? My grandpa used to tell me the same thing. He used to tell me, you know what? You better kill somebody before you fuck with their money.
Yeah, absolutely. No joke. And I actually know how to make it, for the most part, to fool your common person. And I won't even. I don't know. I can't say never. It could be down and out someday. I'm very desperate. You gotta get. We got a watch page. Dave Hawaii's watch page.
Yeah.
Rookies.
Oh, that was Dave. You know what's weird is how
My mistake. My apologies. Great. Hello.
my avatar on the watch page is stuck as just a picture, but my avatar on the Hangout shows my cat moving.
Yeah, it's been different.
I see your cat paused.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Hold on a sec.
Is it supposed to be animated? How's everything going?
With? We're on OBS now.
I see that. You even have a curtain today.
Yep. We fancy. Yep. We had a pay-per-view fight last night. Started unlisted and then went public. I don't know. The unlisted was just the OBS, but.
You mean the argument that was going on in your panel?
Yeah. It's just two flat earthers just giving each other a good rogering. That's all. No big deal.
Are you talking about the Falconback and the
Yeah.
Haunted?
Yeah. So you asked me what was going on. That's just been the latest. Nothing major, nothing earth shattering.
Hold on, I had to put on some headphones so I could hear you.
It's just nothing major earth shattering. What's this storm over here? You're showing.
That's my hurricane.
Oh, it's yours. It's named Hurricane David.
It's directly 400 miles below my current location. I don't even know the name of it, actually. They closed down all the schools and everything.
Is it Hector?
No, that was the one before. That was last week. This is an animation that's from, it goes all the way up to 20 UTC, which is 8 o'clock p.m. So it goes to 7 in the morning for me of my time. So that's 3-4 hours old. 5 hours old almost.
It's coming for you.
It's traveling west with a little bit of north in it, so it could turn up into the island chain, like they're in head for Kauai, possibly, is what they're saying. That might, to scare everybody. Maybe it'll do that. I don't know. Big long lines at the gas station, and all the water's sold out and everything.
Yeah, you guys are really screwed in the crisis.
But it's not, there's never really been a hurricane on Maui, so I'm not too worried about it. If it hits, it'll hit one of the other islands.
Dave,
it looks like,
hey, buddy.
Looks like it's going by. Hey, Jared. I had my shit turned up so I could hear Jibby, and then you came in. Sorry. That's a bit of a problem of the panel. Different volume levels. If you use headphones. How's everything going? And so they got through that. That didn't sound that bad. I mean, they kind of agreed they were both flat earthers in the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually happy with how it turned out. It seemed.
I don't know how it turned out.
Well,
maybe it's not over. I just meant as far as I listened to it. I couldn't listen to the whole thing.
Well, it just got kind of old, you know. Like he kept calling names, and there was no fight back. Like I don't think he was. I don't think he was expecting like us to be just so laid back. It seemed like he was ready to go. You know.
Which he are you talking about?
Dan. When he came in, you know, he was.
Falkenbach was looking for some argument, huh? Came in swinging. Is that what
he
you're
came
saying?
in swinging, yeah. Like calling anybody, you know, he was upset and saying some things that I didn't think he had any of that anger was towards any of us. It's just
No,
towards.
it was something between those two. I think Hunted had previously timed out Dan in a previous hang-up somewhere, and they already had an axe to grind. And then Hunted invited Falkenbach to work it out.
At one point, he sounded like me in a good morning rant. I was like, I got nothing to add to that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, the Falkenbach rants are excellent. He's just another. He's a character, one of the Flat Earth characters that's been around a while. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do? But he's got a lot of information. He's not stupid.
No,
isn't he
I like the guy.
Partially Native or Indigenous American or something? I think that's part of his deal. You know, we're lucky he's that restrained. If that, you know, being part of the Native tribe that had their shit all run down, taken over.
He's got genetic anger.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at the Hawaiians' restraint, you know, because we totally stole all their shit.
Yep.
I was proud of how we all handled him. You know, like you just kind of laid back and let it just kind of drift away. And the next thing you know, he was getting involved in our conversations.
I know that those two guys are the kind of guys who can. They'll clean up the broken glass and the broken chairs after they're done fighting. And they'll, help wipe down the bar and stuff like that.
I mean, I kind of figured that that's what the deal was since you weren't really saying much. I mean, I kind of figured that's what was going on. But at the same time, I was kind of torn on, do I let him, like, disrespect this channel by saying things, or should I let that go too? Like, I was conflicted there.
He didn't disrespect the channel. He might have disrespected some on here, and that, in his opinion, deserved his disrespect, and that's his opinion to feel he deserved that. To do that, he didn't say anyone specific, so it's kind of like a general "you people" kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's not specific. Venting.
One of the things that was bugging me was in the chat, you was sitting there saying that almost everyone here is a fucking troll. You said like 90% of the people on the panel are trolls.
I don't live under the bridge. How can I be?
Yeah, whatever you want to call them, you know. I mean, I was like, what the fuck is he even talking about? He's like everyone's an agent type of an attitude.
Well, everybody he feels just everybody's not as serious as him. Therefore, in that regard, they're just trolling. They're just chilling. They're just wasting time. He knows the level he's at. He's passionate about it. He's pissed about it. He wants immediate shit done about it. I get it.
But it gets old. Like, it's like, can you just take it down a notch?
You ever met a senile person who like yells at the wall or something? You want to go mess with them? Be like, stop yelling at that wall, and you just let them do it.
I don't know if it's quite the same, but
in the Matrix, everybody that's in the Matrix is an agent potentially.
Right.
So maybe that's what he's talking about. Because in the Matrix movie, they can inhabit your body and make you do shit. In other words, like I used to talk about that with my buddy, how that's sort of real even in our world. Like people can be made to do shit. We don't know how, but they're not doing their own will. They're being used, and You know,
That goes with that whole gang stalking thing.
yeah, that's kind of what his whole trip was. My buddy, when we used to talk about that.
Ting, ting, bling, bling. You leave the gangs alone. You're out of that life.
Yeah, but just the idea in the Matrix movie that anybody that didn't know what the deal was could become a potential agent, and that's sort of translates to our world, but not literally. But you know.
The way Jared wanted
that going on.
The way Jared wanted somebody to like jump in and say something, it was just the effect that if we would have, it would have been something different. So you just
I didn't necessarily want somebody to jump in. I kind of wanted to sense like what do I need to do? Like what is my responsibility in this thing?
Just listen.
Right.
Just listen.
And that was kind of what I was struggling with. Like, I do. I want people to get along. I do. I don't like fighting. I think everybody who fights in this community, it's not
like
really.
Why do you want people to get along? Like, do you understand where that even comes from? That want.
It's like an impossibility. People are always going to be different. I mean, we just need to manage rage more than anything. Yeah. In my opinion, you can't get 5 people together and have them agree on shit. I mean, on everything. They'll agree that the Earth's flat, but after that, you'll be like arguing about everything. To a point, it depends on the people, but I'm just saying it's impossible to agree on shit.
When he made that sound or whatever that sound he made, I was reverting back to 4-year-old kids things, Like, is that the best argument that we have? Is like childhood boo-boo head, doo-doo head type thing?
Don't include their best with my best.
Yeah. Merle. Hustle. Respect. What are you loyal to?
I thought it ended up well, though. He ended up staying on the panel for a little while, and we had a good conversation, and then so.
Panel's been awful busy lately. It's always full of 10 people.
I talked to Haunted before in a different thing. I talked to Sub before in a different thing, like both in different things and both alone too. They never seemed like they were cool then. No problem with. I've been in a couple hangouts with the Sub Genius, like not like just me and him, but like him with like 4 or 5 or 8 of us or whatever,
Yeah.
This is the first time I've
been on one of his hangouts before. Back in the days when you could throw the link in the chat and then delete it.
Yep.
Right, I might have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
most time the Bro Sanchez or
doing
Dread.
shows. Yeah.
And that's where I met Sub on I think either Bro or Dreads.
First time I heard him was IPS, and thought he had good things to say.
Well, I wasn't really an IPS person. I never really.
Away from IPS.
Well, no, I just didn't know any of them. I never really. I like I said, I'm just me. I don't really particularly go to any groups. I just know Dread and them had like panels, and they were letting people come on and speak. And when I didn't like what some people were saying, they let me on. And they liked me. So it just worked.
Did you get exposed? I think I heard you on the exposed channel.
Hell no, I didn't get exposed. I exposed people.
You exposed everyone. Hell yeah. Yeah, you were good on that channel. I remember that. I never went on. I was too scared, I guess.
Fuck that.
I heard the part about taking out snack, and I was like, taking out snack? What the hell? Like, why would you take out?
What do you mean? Why would?
That probably comes from the whole snack and
if
vet
Snack's
thing.
not worried about it, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I kind of did. I kind of was like, well,
a long time ago. Yeah.
Sometimes you get associated with those you associate with.
I'm gonna take out the trash too, but I don't have any in my hand right now.
Yeah, some people might associate me with people trying to destroy the music industry. Like, just because I talk to Jared doesn't mean I'm like Jared.
Do you know how to sing? No. Good. Sign here.
Hey Merle, have you accepted my friend request on Hangouts?
No. I haven't got it, Jared.
Did you go over the blueprints? Because he's been waiting for the memo on his desk. Merle?
I haven't responded to any of my messages to you.
I try not to.
In your Hangouts, there should have an invite that's sitting there somewhere. If you go directly to my name in Hangouts, you'll see it.
My name. All right.
Yeah, my name, M-Y.
I'm going to it.
I'm following these instructions to the T, man. Just keep coming with them. Okay, you want me to jump up and down 3 times while holding my big toe? Come on, that's a little odd.
I should probably go to the beer store before the hurricane hits, huh?
No, you go to the store. Go to the store right now, and then go while the hurricane hits after your buzz. Then you're having fun.
You get on
the store
top of the
won't
roof.
be open. The power will be out.
Lieutenant Dan it.
Yeah, you'll be on your bike buzz like, look at me. Freedom. You're standing on your bike.
You call this a storm?
Yeah.
Well, I already know it's not going to be bad for me because when we had that Iniki, which was in the 90s, the worst hurricane ever, over 200 miles per hour wind, on my side of the island, it wasn't even raining. It was nothing.
When the storm comes, you're just going to put on your storm coat and be like, this is Dave High. Like,
no, I'm expecting a lot of rain. There's just going to be a lot of rain.
You got to come out
Flooding
with a new product. Dave High Stay Dry.
Okay.
Buy it, $14.52.
You got a good roof there?
$52. Dave High Stay Dry.
I got leaky roofs. Everything's a lack of maintenance problem.
It works the
I need to get up
opposite
there
way.
and seal all those leaks. I'd like to try to find hire a younger guy, but I haven't had that happen.
Do you
yet.
really have leaks and shit everywhere?
No, just a couple of pinholes, but it's screwing up the ceiling.
It's
dripping
flex
down.
tape. The flex tape is great.
Plus, like
But it
rubber.
drips and then follows a trail and ends up coming through the ceiling in a totally different location. So it's really hard to track it down. But I'm sure it's just from age, cracks here, little cracks.
You ever thought about putting the rubber on? Like a rubber
I
roof?
did. I rubberized, roofed it. I gave it like 3 coats, but it's already, that was about 10 years ago.
No, I mean, they have actual layers of rubber now. It's not even like coating. It's like actual thick layers of rubber. You lay it out in sections.
Yeah, it has glue on one side. You put that on top of your, they
Well, I
make
just didn't
this
know if you did
board
the
that's
tar.
radiant
Some people do
barrier.
straight tar.
Yeah. When you're making
yeah,
a
some people
building
do
now,
rubber.
they have this rubber shit that's glues down to the top of your, it's not really a plywood. It's more like a radiant barrier particle board shit that they were using.
Yeah,
And
I know
then you
you're
put a
talking
metal roof over that. A metal roof. So that way, eventually, even if you get little tiny where the nails hold the metal down, it starts to leak around there eventually. And then you still have a rubber coating below that. That's the way to do it. But my house I'm dealing with isn't made that way. It doesn't even have insulation.
Have you ever thought about how to make a house part just like by sliding the sections in? Do the top peak, the bottom edges, and slide the pieces in like? And instead of having all these rivets and bolts in your roof, what the fuck? Like you're telling me.
I know they put their bolts in
2018
on the high spot. Sorry.
Right, but you understand what I'm saying? There's not a way to maintenance a roof together without the bolts in it. There has to
I've
be.
seen ceramic tile roofs that have no visible fasteners. I'm not sure what holds them down.
Well, I know, but you know how you do like slide doors, framing, like put a rail on top of your peak and a rail at the bottom and slide a material that fits between those 2 inches.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Right.
Sections. That's
Slide in.
what I would do. Yeah.
Or snap in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it snaps in.
And
I
then
think
each
the
piece-
problem is the size. You're still going to end up with seams. You know, you got to come up with a seam that doesn't leak too.
Motherfucker, get out of this.
Well, your edge would come out a little farther than your roof, and then you put your gutter on. It would come out like
No,
a
I mean-
fourth of an inch or a half an
You're
inch
not going
further
to get a
than the edge.
one-piece plastic to cover your entire roof. It's going to have seams.
No, not plastic, Dave. You make your ridge and you get material. It wouldn't even have to be plastic. It'd be like vinyl, be whatever the fuck you want. But put in that in the two slides. Slide it in.
Yeah.
Like if you had a piece of Lawand and you were building something different than the roof, you could slide the Lawand in the thing.
Uh-huh.
Keep going. Whatever material will fit up and down, 8x4, whatever. Yeah, you have to
Slide
do it.
them in.
Yeah.
No. What about the cracks between the boards? You just put caulking in there?
Well, it's all in the design.
Yeah. All right.
It's all in the design. You know, if you got like a 12-12 pitch on your designs, then the water's not going to stay on.
I don't have a lot of pitch.
No, I mean, you
Just
just
regular.
like, I'm just saying for anybody who wanted to like.
I think the kind with a lot of pitch are hard to work on because then you slide off it. You can't just stand there.
Yeah, I have a 12-12 pitch roof myself. It's fucking shitty.
You got to go up there with one of those.
I wish gravity worked.
A
Put
lift
it that
thing
way.
or something, or use ropes. Do mountain climbing
Yeah,
style.
I use neither, but it's pretty. I just put the boards across it and walked against the roof. You know,
Put little
laid
red
against
edge
the-
boards, yeah,
Yeah.
with a wedge shape on there.
Well, we just knock them in, and then we knock those in, and then put our toe footing things in, and then put the boards on those.
Oh.
The little metal thing. You got metal clips. You just beat them in, and you put a big ass board across it, and it's like a plank.
Okay.
You can walk on it flat instead of just like a board against the roof, nailed down flat.
Uh-huh.
About 4 years ago, I worked this construction job with this foreman who we worked on a house. It was so weird. It's like one of the best known architects in the country, right? Like number 2 architect out of New York. He comes to Kansas, Gardner, Kansas, to build his dream house, right? You know, nice huge area of land. And the house was really unique, though. The way he built it was octagonal shaped. You ever heard anything like that?
Like a stop sign?
Yeah, it's really strange.
And what about the roof? Did it go like a peak? Did it go
Yeah, it was kind of like
hex.
a peak.
What's an ox? That's a hexagon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what
it sounds like. It's that same kind of roof I was talking about.
It's almost round. That's like a yurt. I think that he maybe was there's types of schools of thought like anthroposophy that says you shouldn't have any corners and build inside your house.
Yeah, he was a really
And
interesting
so
fellow.
That's how yurts are, and that's probably how that house was. No corners, everything would be round inside, which is supposed to be a preferable way. If you are building the dream house, that is what you'd want to do, I would think.
It was really cool.
I think it would be awesome to have no corners inside a house. Just everything curved. It would change your whole the feeling of everything, you know. Just hanging out, everything would be different.
Well, no, actually, I had like a 3-level basement, a pool, like a regular swimming pool, and then next to it, one of those pools that you get in and you just practice swimming, you know, like the size of it's like a personal size where you can just do laps and stuff, but you're still in the same area. So it's like a
lap pool,
treadmill, lap pool. Yeah. Yes, that's what you call it. Very, very nice place. He's had a wine cellar that was freaking insane. He had a library that was 3 levels. I just remember that. That was a really cool shape of that house. And the roof was which was interesting, was like pointed in some areas, and then like so that the water would fall in certain places. I just remember that.
Did he do catchment?
Don't know what that means. What is that?
Water catchment?
Water catchment?
Yeah. You know, that's where you collect your rainwater.
Oh, yes.
From
Yes,
your
you did.
roof. You have to make your roof out of a special material.
I think that's exactly what it was, because it was using the rainwater that was coming in.
You know, the UN wants that to be illegal, and it is. A guy in Oregon was convicted of it. Catching rainwater is supposed. They're trying to make that against the law.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to live if you can't catch the rainwater in certain places? That's what the idea is. They don't want you living in those places. That's why they're trying to make that law. They're trying to bring everyone into the cities. Allegedly, that's the UN's Agenda 21.
I always shake my head like, why Kansas? Why Gardner, Kansas? What the hell are you doing here, bro? Like, you could live anywhere you want to retire, and you're deciding this place? Like,
maybe he's from around there.
He wasn't. That was weird. Like, he just wanted to get away from New York and felt like that was the place to be, I guess. I guess it worked out with cost, because Kansas is, well, Johnson County is one of the richest counties in the country. But I don't think that was Johnson County. I think it was right outside of Johnson County.
It's probably just as far west as he wanted to go. That's considered west when you're in New York, right? Kansas.
Yep. 5-car garage.
I think even Pennsylvania is west when you're in New York. Hillbillies out west. No, they started a country in Pennsylvania. What am I talking about? The corporate world order took over via Pennsylvania.
Isn't that where the bell is?
Yeah, I went and checked that bugger out one time. Happened to be there. It's weird. That was the tallest building in the whole country at the time. It's just like a 2-story building. The country was so new that was like the only building in the whole country. The only real building. Yeah, allegedly. That's the story they say.
Yeah.
Didn't have any windows, though.
Hi, Jared.
Jack, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Jack? My name's Dave.
Hi, Dave.
We're just
talking
talking
about
roofs.
West, his billionaire neighbor or something.
No, it was a
New
guy.
York
I
City.
worked construction. My first construction gig was that house, helping the dude out.
Working for a dude from New York City. A businessman, probably.
Yeah, he's an architect.
Oh, he was an architect? Hmm. Built himself an 8-sided house. Was it, did it have outbuildings and stuff, or was it all one big castle thing?
He had his main house, which was the big castle thing, and then on the other side, he had the library. The library was its own entity, and
it was his own separate building?
Yeah. Like his library collection it's incredible. Like, I painted all the shelves. It's 3 stories. Like, wow. It was a pain in the ass to paint those shelves.
They just painted them with regular paint?
Well, we put that stuff on first, that primer stuff on, and then like a wood stain type of thing. So it wasn't really paint, I guess.
It looked like wood, right? You didn't like paint them a color.
Right. So happy when that was over with.
So I finally ran into another person that I had already talked to.
Oh, really? So you got confirmation?
Yeah, and she said that she looked at it, but she saw how long it was, and she didn't have time to get into it, but she's going to get into it tonight. Because I told her 200 proofs, that's quite a long movie. I mean, it's movie length, so you know, got to be in it.
Now flat smacked my toe driver.
Awesome.
I don't like 200 proofs. It's too many. There's too many repeated. He just
but
drones on and on about the same shit, and then he finally.
It's just to get her head, to get their head in the right place. That's all.
There is no right, you know.
Are you looking for a book or a video?
No, definitely a video.
Oh.
I don't live in, I don't live in a.
You don't think the
college town or
clues
anything.
are better because they're not so confrontational? You know, he's just delivering. The 200, the guy's kind of like his attitude, you know, just like rattling on and on and on.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, I guess.
In the moment, you know, I guess.
Well, the reason I use 200 proofs is because if I say flat Earth clues and they forgot what it was that I told them, then they're going to end up typing flat Earth in there, and they're going to get some bull crap.
Right.
So by saying 200 proofs, there's not, you know, it's kind of hard to mess that up.
Okay.
And that's the only reason why, because if I was to like really pick one, I would probably pick the Introduction to Flat Earth 21 Questions by ODD.
Yeah, that's what I go to. Usually is ODD's either Flat Earth in 5 minutes or that one, yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty decent. Because, yeah, he hits up all the questions that they typically, you know, say.
How about, what's the name of...
But she told me to pull up and wait for my burger, so I ran inside and I showed her some of my slideshow. I showed her the lunar module and I showed her the 120,000 foot picture.
Is this video any good? 5 facts that prove the Earth is flat?
Who's it by?
I haven't seen that one.
Engineering Explained.
I have never heard of it.
It's got 782,000 views. That's why it's high in the list, I guess.
Yeah, it might be a mocker though.
I'm not even going to click on it. It looks like clickbait. Yeah, that's weird. When I just type in flat Earth, I get a lot of
bogus, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to sway you against it more than anything.
Absolutely.
That's why lately people have been putting out stuff like Flat Earth is a psyop, Flat Earth is a whatever, Flat Earth is a lie, and then it's actual Flat Earth channel, and they tell you about Flat Earth.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a big problem because
look at this. You get Vsauce.
They went before a national committee and they said that they were going to purposefully steer to the opposing answer.
You kind of cut out there,
yeah,
Jack.
Falling apart.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're okay.
Sorry.
No worries. I just want to tell you before you went like for 2 minutes or something. That's not being able to hear what you said. I'm just say it again. I think I got what you said, though. I think you said there is an opposing group of people that are going to be challenging our side of it?
No. YouTube actually went before a national committee and said that they're going to show all opposing videos before you could get to your own video.
Wow.
They do it on purpose. In other words, like, for instance, the other day I typed in West Stace Flat Earth, and I got 40 bullcrap videos before I even found Wesley States and, Flat Earth News Talk. So they, like I said, they did it in front of a national committee, and I don't know if you heard Mark Sargent last night, but he says if you go on Google right now and you type in Flat Earth and you click on news and you click sort by date, it comes up completely blank, and it says there are no search results for Flat Earth. And I tried it, and sure enough, it did exactly that. And then Mark's video went up from the show, so I don't know if that's gone as well, but they wiped the slate clean. Like, there has been no Flat Earth news ever.
think Uber was saying something about that too. He's like, you know, it's weird. There's nothing on flat Earth. And like, what do you mean? He said, well, there's not even any opposing things about on flat Earth. Like, usually, you get a bunch of people putting out videos debunking flat Earth. He's noticed a lack of that lately. So I'm wondering if that's why they're doing what they're doing, because no one's coming up with new content to debunk it. So let's put it in the back, you know, let's bury it. I mean, come on, guys. They got to be running out of something here pretty soon because they got shit. They don't got anything.
Yeah, it's kind of concerning to me. You know, don't know really what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is the weird Bruce.
I think it has to do with whatever they've been doing to YouTube and Facebook the past couple days, because even last night I did a search for Flat Earth Live, came up with us, Space Weather, whatever, and like 2 others, and then it was going to videos from 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The search parameters were all wonky and didn't make any sense. This happens sometimes, and then it goes right back to normal. But it's while they're adding something, they're changing the code. Give it a day, 2 days, it should go right back to normal if it's still doing it. I've seen this done before.
Wow, I never knew there was a movie called The Flat Earth done in 2017.
I didn't either. IMDb, see what it's about.
Yeah. The Flat Earth starring Jamie Foy, Carlos, Iki, Chase Webb, Mike Paluzzi.
Is that the one about the school shooting? Or that's out.
I would have to click on it to find out which one. Why would that have been updated today?
What?
A film of Monique Verhoeven, which details the troubled war experiences of her father and grandfather. Both are struggling with post-traumatic stress syndrome. The film is an attempt of...
Yeah, that's that movie that has absolutely nothing to do with Flat Earth.
The maker to establish contact with impenetrable worlds, and a viewer gains access to main character senior's inner world. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. It's just drama. The thoughts of his son. Tries to master his anger and impotence. Make peace with his...
Yeah, there was
Why is
mention
it called
of this.
Flat Earth?
There was mention of this before the what do you call it? Behind the Curve. Before Behind the Curve debut, he mentioned that there's a movie called Flat Earth, but it has nothing to do with Flat Earth.
It came out in 2014. How weird.
There's also a play, a theater play called Flat Earth something, and it's all about a school shooting. It's really strange. That came out.
So
right
they're
about
using
that also.
it just to get interest. The tag, like they put that in your tags. You just put every word known to man in your tags or whatever, so you have more chance of getting to the top.
It was really strange. It came out right after Vegas happened, which was, or no, maybe not Vegas, maybe the Orlando thing, I think is when it came out, actually. Right after the Orlando shooting stuff went down, and then all of a sudden you see a play for Flat Earth. And there's also a theater that's called the Flat Earth Theater somewhere on the East Coast. I think it's by Jibby.
Nathan Oakley on YouTube is it high on this list? See, he must know how to use tags for him to even be on this list, huh? Or something.
Well, you can pay a little money to get your tag higher up on the list too.
Yeah. Most of when I did a search for the last 24 hours, and most of it's Reddit. But hey, here's an article in Newsweek. Let's debunk their debunkage.
It said Neil deGrasse. Yay.
It has to do with Kyrie Irving.
Why is that listed as a...
Oh, wait. Here's man
News
says
thing.
bookmakers won't take his flat earth bet. That's Gerard Gallagher. Well, that's. I guess it's a search within Newsweek or something that gave me all these hits.
Wow.
Mad Mike Hughes, Neil deGrasse, explains how Earth is not flat.
Wow.
You think we could stomach that?
They got
If I
a
was to
whole...
click on
Well,
it?
I've seen that one. It's not so bad
Oh,
because
yeah.
he says... There's a part in there where he says it would work on a round Earth or a flat Earth, so...
Oh.
Where he talks about Aristophanes.
Gather in
and the
August.
six.
Is that me or him that dropped out?
I'm back.
Hey, Carl.
I was just making memes.
You're the man.
I'm up to my third meme of the day.
Have you heard of the Flat Earth movie? Came out.
I did hear this movie, yeah, and I don't know what it's supposed to be about, but it came out around the same time as the movie The Shape of Water, I think, too, actually. Oh, you know what? The movie The Flat Earth is a skateboarding movie, right? Or is that called The Flat Earthers?
No, it's two. It's like a grandpa and a father. Some drama.
A drama, yeah.
Yeah.
Henry liked it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a skateboarding movie called Meet the Flat Earthers or something like that. Or they're working on a skateboarding movie that hasn't come out yet called The Flat Earth.
Are you the one that told me about the play, Carl? The Flat Earth play that they wrote, the theater production about the school shooting?
I don't know about that. I don't know if that was me.
Probably Uber then. One of you cats.
I think that was Alan. Alan said that one dude the other night.
You see the kind of shit they're saying about? They're saying that the education system has failed because
Yeah.
we think the world's flat.
Yes, that's what Neil deGrasse has been saying since day
What a
one.
load of crap.
But
You're
but you
damn
know
right
what?
it's failed.
Yeah, good thing, isn't it? That the education system's failing. The indoctrination system has failed. We are escaping it. Hallelujah.
So he's
Yeah, the
right.
indoctrination
He's telling the truth.
failed, not education. The goal of education is to teach people how to think, not what to think. End of story.
He uses lunar eclipse as some of his higher evidence. Explain why lunar eclipse means Earth must be spherical. Earth is always casting shadow out of space, and when a lunar eclipse occurs, the moon moves into that shadow.
What about the shadows? You're going to use that. If you're going to use the shadows, use the shadows that come on the moon that can't explain that number or whatever.
No, that's the one where he shows. That's the one where he shows the. It's the one where he shows the Earth as a flat disk and it draws a line on the moon. That's where he's mocking that one.
By the way, I put a link to that skateboarding movie in the chat. I'm checking it out right now because I don't think I've seen it yet.
So we got Dim.
Yeah, give us a full report, Carl. We want, if it has good skating and if it has anything to do with the flat Earth.
Say that was a rooster.
Stop, Rooster! You're hurting
There he is again. Stop, Rooster. You hear that, Rooster? Hey, stop it, Rooster. Get out of here, Rooster. Go home, Rooster. Eat the fuck, Rooster. Go home, Rooster. Nah, Rooster, shut up.
It's too noisy.
I better turn it down now.
Sorry, I had to share my daughter's criticism for you.
That's awesome.
So is that just a sound effect, or is somebody really on a farm?
It's not a farm. It's a wild rooster. They just have where I live. There's chickens that live in the bushes, Mom.
Have you guys talked before?
Probably not. I can never get on the panel anymore.
Man.
No, I've been really busy. I haven't really tried to get on the panel.
Yeah, Just Jack, you've been around now for a couple weeks, haven't you? Or a week and a half, maybe?
Yeah, about that. As far as
I think I might have been around when he first showed up the day on his first day on the channel.
Dave Jack? Jack Dave.
Yeah.
This is Jack, just come back.
That's Henry.
And that's Henry.
I'm waiting for. I thought he was done. I'm gonna mute it till he's done.
Corey was plugging the show last night. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love that you have.
He's like, you guys got to stay connected. There's a 24-hour chat over at PonchoPete.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dave, did you see E1's green screen that he presented the other day?
I don't think I saw E1's latest presentation.
He's got the green screen, the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, hey, we made it to space. Now we just need to get a rocket launch. And yeah.
I've seen Corey Sheet shows. He's got a nice green screen.
You got to go to Flat Smackers Live. That's where he gets in the Tesla and the ISS, and he calls something roulette, chat roulette, and he tried to skip as many penis face pictures and tried to get to actual people. But when he gets to the actual people, he flat smacks them. It's pretty entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah,
but he's reached quite a few people.
He is he's definitely honing in on the craft and doing really well. He's not going to not get better, right? He's just going to continue to be better.
You talking about E1 or the Hori Sheet? Or both?
Hori Sheet. Hori Sheet, he has the show that he's been doing now for, what, 2 years now? Almost? Year? 2 years?
Right. Whatever. I thought you were saying E1, though. You asked me about E1.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. E1, he got the whole green screen thing. But we haven't really been able to do anything yet, but man, it would be so awesome. Like, I think it'd be funny to have our own PonchoPete launch of our rocket, to put our astronauts in space, quote unquote. And like do it kind of SpaceX style where you have all the people like cheering in the background. Yeah, way to go, guys. And just kind of steal that.
How would you fake a bunch of people sitting in panels? Or you just wouldn't have video of that? You just have the audio?
Well, if we have two green screens,
yay, we're gonna put an empty car in space. Woo woo!
To just like get like maybe 3 people like pumping their fists and like jumping up and down, and then copy and pasting those people like in that there's, looks like there's a lot. Then, you ever seen the SpaceX launches? It's so bad behind the people that are cheering. It's such an easy thing to make fun of. And,
yeah, that control room is integral to the story. It helps them sell that whole fake story, is that control room thing. You know what I mean? All the
so I was thinking,
they're busy at their computer terminals and shit.
Right. So I was thinking we get some shitty, like really bad cartoonish CGI. So when we're like, all right, here we go. Let's take it over to this. Let's watch the spacecraft take off or whatever. And then we, switch to that scene. And it's all crappy and shitty. Then it launches, and then we're all like, yay, we're in space. And then cut to E1 or to Hori. How you guys doing up there? I don't know.
Well, making movies is very time consuming. I know this hour per second is what you gotta figure. You're actually trying to make a movie.
Hey guys, I got robot broken up bad signal out here. I'll get on later. Talk to you later.
Hey,
all right, Jack. Be good, buddy.
Stay flat.
Hey Dave, so I found the cover for that skateboarding video, and it seems like the skateboarding video is kind of using the term the flat Earth, not really playing into it all or like into any explanation. But I haven't seen the film yet. But you should look at the cover. It's obvious that they used a hemispherical lens. They took a picture of the street, and it makes it look like the city block that they're on is the entire globe.
Oh yeah, one of those kind of ones.
So
That's going to be in the back chat?
Yeah, it's in this back chat. If you don't mind showing it, that'd be cool.
Oh, okay.
If you could, please.
I just don't want to share the screen while I'm going to the back chat. That probably wouldn't be good. Carl, it would be okay, actually, in this case. Because it's a separate call. Yeah.
If I tried to screen share, it'd probably screw it up since I've never
It's
actually
real
been
small.
on it.
It's the size of a thumbnail.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, look how small it is.
Oh, no, that's not the one. It's the one after that. I made that earlier.
Okay.
Do you see who that is?
The Uniglober.
That's awesome.
I just did that one earlier, actually.
So I go further up the page to get to
no, it should have been posted right after that.
Oh, further down the page. Okay. Is it going to be this one? Yeah, now.
I was hoping Poncho would like that one.
Twice.
The Uniglober.
Oh, yeah. The globe is one block. Well, that's an extreme lens there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a hemispherical lens. If like I don't know if everybody can see all that right now, but like it looks like a planet, like a spherical planet that they're on, but it's just one city block. And that's what a top-down hemispherical lens does when it's pointed down at the ground. It makes anything look like it's the whole globe, you know? So that's how they make it look like that's how they make it look like the ISS is over the spherical Earth. It's not the entire Earth. It's just a portion of it.
Right.
But the lens bends it into a hemisphere, like a distorted hemisphere down below, you know?
Well, if you go by the numbers, like a regular camera might come with like a 55 millimeter lens. And by the time you get down to 28, that's almost, it creates a very bendy horizon. I think this is more than a 28, you know, I mean, more bendy. It's just basically more curve on the lens is all it is, really, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the way they make the lens.
Can you scroll down a little?
Okay.
Sorry. I don't want to be picky or anything.
Oh, that's like a 360 cam. I didn't know it was that. Sorry.
Yeah, you see how they did that?
There we go.
It's pretty high definition too, actually. I looked really closely at the picture, and You can see a lot in there.
That's a 360 cam, I think. Sort
Yeah,
of.
pretty much
I
just
mean,
upside down, pointing down at the ground.
Yeah, somehow they aimed it. They turned. I don't know what they did. It's pretty cool.
It's the same thing as like a bank security camera with the little dome over it, and
Okay.
using the hemispherical lens, they can see the entire room. You know?
Yeah, it's not actually a 360 camera. It's just a, like you say, a lens, a round lens.
Yeah, the lens.
It looks like half a
the
ball.
lens looks like
almost,
half
you
of a
see?
sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like half of a sphere. Yep.
Wow. And
So
that
that's
way they
probably
pull in
the-
all the data with one lens. That way in a bank. And
Yeah,
they can analyze it with a computer if they need to later on.
Yeah, so next time you see this ISS live over Earth, it could easily be a plane at nowhere near the altitude that the ISS should be at, with a lens that's distorting it like that to make it look like you're seeing all the horizons of the globe around a circle, but it's all distortion, you know? Like, you should be able to look to the left and see all the way down that street, and then look to the right, see all the way down the other street, and then you turn your back and you look behind you, you know, and like that's literally just a flat city block bent around a ball, you know. I hope that wakes some people up, seeing that image right there and trying to imagine how you make that picture possible, because that is a real photo.
Yeah, it's just a photographer with a certain lens. And
Yeah, that's not some
composition,
CGI.
I mean, it's a photo shoot. He had probably the guy skating across like that, right in the middle.
What they did was they used a remote control drone helicopter with the hemispherical camera lens mounted on
There
the
you go.
bottom, and they just flew it over the intersection while he went under it, and they took the photo, you know. So it
The
got the
thing I'm
sky.
having trouble with is the sun is in the picture and the road is in the picture, right next to each other. I don't. How is that? How does that work? It's really sun. Oh, the sun's going away. Is that what it is? Late in the day, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where that is or anything, but yeah, it looks like it would be like during the evening, like around
Yeah.
dusk. As
Right, the sundown in the city from a drone. It might already
like,
be.
obviously,
What's that?
that's only a few blocks, you know. Like, that's not even much of the city that they're in, yet they bend it to look like half
The
of
whole
a,
entire
of
globe.
a sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the shadow.
You could really do
on
that
the
in your
bottom of
own
the
back.
picture. What's
You
that?
could do that in your own backyard with the same kind of lens and a camera and a drone. You could do that in your backyard and make it look like your house is the only thing on the whole planet, you know?
Yeah. What they did was the sun, when it goes away that in that particular location, it runs right down the street. So that street stays lit up while the other shit is in shadow. Makes for a nice photograph and stuff. It's, you think a drone, huh? Hovering above like the street light level maybe? Or even
Yeah, and when I watched the preview of the movie, it was like 4 minutes. I put it in the chat. I was amazed immediately of like the huge parallax that they're doing, flying a drone over like a mountaintop while all these people are skating on the top, and the thing's like circling them, you know. So
they
that's
skate
just
for the
something like
drone.
back.
Yeah.
I used to watch skateboarding videos in like the late 90s, early 2000s. That was not even close to a thing using drone cameras. You'd have to pay somebody else to fucking videotape you, you know?
What a hilarious poster, the flat earth. And then it's that. Actually, the funny thing is in irony world, that's a perfect picture for the flat earth. You have to already be a flat earther to figure out how it's ironic and shit, but it's pretty funny, really. Maybe they really are flat earthers.
I saw an interview with them, and half of them are like young kids, and they were kind of like, I don't even know much about the flat earth. I just heard that the video is being made, and it was going to be like this epic video, and what's his name came up with the title, so we all just went with it. You know, like none of them knew anything about the flat earth, except one of them, I think.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I recently heard someone say skateboarders seem to be pretty in tune with the flat earth, and I wonder if this is part of that, because this movie just came out, you know? It's a small culture, though. Not a lot of people in skateboarding.
I know, but it's a little bit like snowboarding. It kind of drives a lot of other industries. But in some ways, other industries get their ideas from the trends and from skater trends and stuff. I think, or they have done in the past.
Yeah, skateboarding comes and goes in waves too. Like, it's been popular and then it's completely fallen off the map at times.
Oh yeah.
Wave after wave.
Yeah, like in the late late 70s, it got really popular again when Tony Alva was skating empty pools in California during the drought.
Dogtown, the movie Dogtown, right?
Yeah, I think that actually does refer to those guys. Yeah,
they're in the movie. Tony is one of the characters in the movie.
You saw the movie Skate or Die? Oh, it didn't exist. Damn it.
I remember Gleaming the Cube.
I'm just getting stupid.
You ever see Gleaming the Cube with Christian Slater? Yeah, I know that game.
No.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there? Tearing shit apart? Doing construction?
Kicking ass and taking names.
Chewing bubble gum? You're all out of bubble
No, I'm cooking. I'm cooking bacon, eggs, and eggs, and pancakes and hash browns.
Chef Dem at the helm. Skaters. Yeah. So that's a movie to watch if you like to watch skater movies.
Yeah, but I watched the preview. It's all just skateboarding content. It's like really, really good skateboarding content. I imagine it's going to be like highly rated in terms of like actual skateboarding tricks, but it didn't seem very flat earthy, to be honest.
They probably just wanted to get the name. People are always looking for names.
Yep.
They don't care what it means. It's like Letterman's company was named Pants, Worldwide Pants. They just take random names. It's apparently random. I don't know.
It's kind of like the domain.com bubble. Like everybody was buying up any domain that they thought someone else would want later. They would get it for free, sell it for like $10,
Get what for free?
Pretty sure they got the original domains for free by just declaring them,
Oh, no, well, you had to pay for the host. You had to pay somebody always. You never could just get it for free. But it was cheap, It's maybe like $20 to $50. Or free if you already have a host do it for you. I don't know if they had that system back in the old days, but I think the first people to find out about it probably just went through and bought every name they could think of, even though it was supposed to be against the law to do that.
Right.
And even to this day, there's less names you can think of, but their names actually have value. I was talking to the guy on the phone, and he checked he goes, your name has value. I'm like, really? How much do you think it's worth? And he looked it up. It was like a couple $100 or something. Something stupid. It didn't really have any value.
You remember that Rodney Dangerfield skit?
I've been watching a lot of that on Carson stuff just on YouTube lately. Just the odd 10-minute skit. So I don't know which one you're talking about.
Well, Rodney Dangerfield's talking about like what's in a name, and he's like, so I goes to this guy because I want to buy in your name, and he says I got the perfect name for you. It'll be $500. And he goes through this whole thing where like he tries out the name, he tries to return it, and the guy won't give him full price back or something. I don't know. I got to re-listen to it to really make the joke funny, but.
Dangerfield was good at his delivery, wasn't he?
Yeah. He tended to
probably
not
still
really
around.
tell a joke twice when he had a good public audience, too, right? Like, he didn't repeat himself.
No, he didn't have like a regular act like a lot of the comedians do. They have to retool their act every once in a while.
Yeah, because even George Carlin would end up repeating certain bits that people liked a lot, you know? And I consider George Carlin to be pretty original, but people would be like, oh, do that bit that you used to do about stuff. And he's like, I want to do new material, you know?
I had a friend that discovered this silly George Carlin